Wars. Thunder. When I say I find this Wednesday a very proud person, Ares God of War and his wonderful special lady friend have been friends of mine for years. And because of that, I was brought into the life of the amazing Andy Aries very early on. And Andy Aries just graduated from college this past weekend. And though I know he doesn't listen to this shit show, if somebody does hear it and could direct him to listen so he can hear that from me and all the Deadites and everybody else, we're really proud of you, bud. You exceeded all expectations considering how poor your parents' babysitter choices were. And I'm really proud of you, dude. And in honor of that, I'm going to sing a song that you wrote that you blamed on me many, many moons ago. Just one stanza, though. Damn it. God damn it. Damn it. God damn it. And welcome to Trick or Treat Radio. Damn it. God damn it. Welcome to Trick or Treat Radio.
Zombies. You're listening to Trick or Treat Radio, starring the Deadites.
Welcome to episode 304 of Trick or Treat Radio. Trick or Treat Radio is a phantasmagorical spin kick straight through the heart of pop culture, navigated by the Deadites. The Deadites are the world's greatest electroshock band. We destroy monsters, we drink booze, we win championship belts. And we have, it didn't affect this show, but I had a lot of technical issues on another show on Saturday. I had to basically redo the studio. Oh boy, that's fun stuff.
Yeah.
And
nice to see it happen to a different show for a change.
Yeah. And Marsman also is remote, and he's able to actually hear everything coming out of the mixer this time. So I had to deal with something, and I was able to fix another issue. So there you go.
Confession time. I could hear all along. I just took the opportunity to go away.
It was me all along, Austin.
Oh, pal.
I just peeled off my my preacher mask before I could marry Billy and Chuck. That's one of my favorite contemporary angles ever. I fucking love that
No, it's
shit.
not.
No, I do. It's good.
All right. Well, last week I think it took about 30 or 40 minutes to tell you what we're doing on the show, so I'm going to start out real early with that. And tonight we're going to be discussing the latest film from IFC Midnight and director Mark Young. And the name of the film is Feral. So we're going to be discussing that. And it just is, well, actually it depends on when you hear this. On the live broadcast, it is yet to be released, but it will be released on the 25th of May on VOD. So you can catch it in select theaters and also on VOD. So if you want to, feel free. And then also later on, we didn't mention this last week because I thought of it just a few hours ago, but for our topic this week, in the last segment, we're going to be talking about our favorite horror films that take place in the woods. Purposely left it very ambiguous so people can interpret it how they want, because there's a lot of horror movies that take place in woods.
A couple.
I didn't want to have it just be camping or whatever, so it's pretty wide open, so interpret that how you want. If you guys have yet to get your feedback in, we've got some from some folks. If you've yet to do it, feel free to send a voice message or an email to podcast@trickortreatradio.com and let us know. Also, you can talk about anything. We actually had, we're going to hear from our boy Cecil, and he had inquired to see if it was okay to send his review of Revenge from last week, which absolutely. If you guys can talk about any of the films that we have reviewed like throughout the history of the show. You can talk about, if you're really excited about a film you saw, you can talk about anything. So it doesn't have to be restricted to whatever the topic is. Right. So, feel free
These things are, to a degree, we do talk about topical stuff, though. I found out some people, I did get a little feedback saying that they weren't as excited as of talking about topical stuff, but
yeah,
these shows, we try to make them as evergreen as possible. So maybe you listen to an episode from 3 years ago yesterday and are all fired up about something.
Yeah.
Please feel free, to let us know,
Yeah, and actually that feeds nicely into a new 5-star review that we just got this week.
Oh, hey now.
really?
So this is from Justin. And Justin, the subject is amazing. He says, I heard of this show about 9 weeks ago while listening to Paranormal Punchers, and I've been listening to it in order since. To say the least, I'm on episode 138. I don't know how you got 138 episodes in 9 weeks. That's fucking impressive, dude. And I have no plans on stopping till I catch up. This is an awesome show with funny personalities. It's just an all-around good time. I highly recommend this podcast to everyone.
Well, thanks, man.
Wow.
So thank you, Justin.
Thank you,
That's
dude.
very fucking kind of you.
At
And-
that
Yeah.
rate, he should be able to catch up by the middle of next week.
well, I don't know about that, but
At that rate, he'll be listening to 325. He'll be able to tell us what it's about.
you'll be way ahead of the curve. So,
Yeah, he's a cool fucking dude, that guy. So,
yeah.
do you know Justin?
yeah, I've had some correspondence with him. I think he might be. He's one of a couple people who said that tonight might be his first time in the chat. So,
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah.
nice.
He said, yeah, that's what he said.
No, you know.
Because he's also
he's on the fib, right?
yeah, but he is, and he is also just became a recent fan of some Morbid Vision films.
Look
so,
at that. Spreading the seed.
Yes, exactly.
All around.
Yeah.
Check the ceiling.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I want to go ahead and introduce everyone first, and I'm going to afford Dynamo a little bit of time because I know he's got something he wants to kind of get off his chest. So we'll go ahead and introduce everyone. I am Johnny Wolfenstein. I'm the pencil pusher and producer of media for Trick or Treat Radio, the Deadites, the Grand Guignol Network, and also I have 2 other shows. I do the Outside Corner Fantasy Baseball podcast. If you like your fantasy baseball with a little bit of wackiness to it, it's kind of like The Onion meets The League meets Sports Center. Tune into that. Me and my partner, the evil, or I should say formerly evil, now reformed Dr. Joey Tron. We do that show every week. And also with Marsman, I do a show called the Five Hossman Wrestling Podcast. And we do it monthly, and we just shoot the shit about wrestling for about 45 hours. Mostly, we mostly do independent and international stuff. But, we talk about some of the big E, if you will, WWE once in a while. But, kind of run the gamut, to cover all kinds of stuff.
We talk about the Big E. We talk about the Spencer Fair.
Yes, exactly. All of those things. So,
Yeah.
so give those a listen. And once again, for Justin, thank you very much for the review. If any of you guys want to send us a review, obviously you can do it on any of the places that you listen to the show, but especially the one that's most important would be Apple Podcasts. So if you have an Apple device, you can just go ahead and go into the Apple Podcasts app and click on Trick or Treat Radio, and then just scroll down a little bit, and then you'll see an area to write a review. Leave us that 5 stars, and then if you want, leave a few thoughts about what you think about the show, favorite episodes, favorite personalities, anything. Like the one that I just read from Justin. That was really fucking cool. So feel free to do that. And next, we have the immortal gunslinger, the singer and lyricist for the Deadites, Dynamo Mars.
What's up, y'all? If I may speak on this in public, if you love me on this radio program, which I doubt many do, if you hate me on this radio program, which I'm sure many do, either way, there are pretty much 4 people in my life that you can thank for that. One of them is Johnny Wolfenstein, who over the past 5 million or so years has given me a platform to spout my madness and make it sound crystal clear. There is another 3 people in the late 90s, early 2000s. I was a radio DJ on a terrestrial radio station named WORC, which I won't bore you with the history, but it has quite a great history. One of the person I would have to give a lot of credit to is our station manager, Scott Cuddy, who always gave me opportunities and got me in a lot of guest spots on other shows. So, I wasn't just working one day a week. And Doc Siddell, who was kind of the Johnny Wolfenstein of the time, who was a man with a tremendous radio voice and was a great producer, a much better producer than a rinky-dink radio show or station deserved. And then there was another fellow. He was a diminutive chap. His name was JV, and JV was a fucking warrior. He had most people, you sometimes will hear of people surviving a long life with just one transplant. JV had 3 transplants over the course of his life, 2 kidneys and a liver. He had a lot of health problems, but he was the kind of co-host with the third man, if you will, between me and Doc. And we played local music on our show. It's called Worcester Rocks. And what JV did for me, I can only explain in wrestling terms. JV did something that a lot of people don't have the ego to do, and that's JV let me get over. He played, he was such a nice guy, and he was the white bread baby face, and I was the big dick, and I tore him apart every week and called him short and made fun of him, and then, maybe at the end of the show or 2 shows, not on purpose, it wasn't like a work, but just because he was fucking funny, or I'm not funny, he would get over on me, and everybody would be fucking psyched. Like, there would be an audible pop, and we get a lot of feedback about how great it was when JV put me in my place and everything else, but he established me in the Dynamo Mars character as like a legit villain in a time when in a music scene I could still be a villain, and I could still make people mad on message boards, and I could still get people. He was like, he was the Ricky Morton to my Ric Flair. Like, he just fed for me, and I fucking tore him apart, and he picked his time. And he literally is a huge a unknown commodity in the Deadites. He worked great with Dominatrix. Like, they had a great rapport, and I don't know, how do you not like Dominatrix? Like, have her tear apart JV. Unfortunately, we laid JV to rest today. I saw him a lot. I told him I loved him, and I think my biggest regret going forward is I don't know if he knows how important I feel that he was to the success of anything to the Deadites, and to me being a radio personality, and me kind of developing, what you kind of know as the Dynamo Mars, style, and the way I review things and the way I do things. Cause he was, a great foil for me. And I realized today that you could feel bad for MZ and Raven Shadow forever, because my cruelty to them is probably, insurmountable, because it was developed by the toughest son of a bitch I'd ever met in my entire life, taking one on the chin for me every single week. And he did it thanklessly, and he just loved local music. He fucking loved Huck, and he loved the Deadites, and he still would come here. If you saw a picture of him, you'd recognize him, because he was always at Deadite shows. The last time I got to see him was at Kim's Benefit, and things went downhill fast for him, and I will miss JV. I spent some time today at his home with his family and his girlfriend, and his kids were around, and it was, I'm just real sad. I never wanted to do the thing that I'm doing now, just like I never wanted to be a singer in a band. And I can guarantee you I wouldn't have had the opportunity to I wouldn't be here for you guys if it wasn't for the staff at ORC kind of convincing me to come in from just being a current guest and be a radio personality, I guess you would say. And I don't think, I think there are a lot of reasons why we were selling out clubs in, the early 90s, but I don't think you can take away the fact that people fucking hated us and wanted to see us do bad. And a big reason for that was because JV, who was a fucking great guy. Tonight and from this point forward, when I'm throwing out verbal sweet chin musics to my co-hosts and taking them back, I'll be thinking of JV. And I will miss you, my friend. And I never say this prayer properly because I never like to use the word died. But JV, may you be in heaven for a half hour before the devil knows you're gone. I love you and thank you for everything you did for me.
Well, it's really sweet, Mars. I'm very sorry for your loss. I never got to meet JV, but just hearing you talk about him over the last few days. Sounds like a pretty outstanding dude and
Yeah,
a
he was
fucking
great.
warrior. So
For sure. The reason that I knew that I wasn't a complete asshole and he was in on it is that he would show up at Dynamos and make me look like a fucking donkey. Like I couldn't get a word in edgewise. Like he just fucking had my number, and it, you know, in just retrospect, I realized that this motherfucker, like, you know, like, was playing his part, you know, like, and it was just important to the show, and it made the show go. And I think Doc, with his big booming voice, was the narrator, but I think JV was the face of, you know, he, you know, when I was calling Huck shitty, even though they're my favorite in real life, you know, and he was there to be the proxy for Huck. Like, I think that was, you know, a big important part of the element, and really, you know, gave a physical earnest to, you know, the story we were telling. It wasn't just me making fun of people who couldn't defend themselves, you know?
yeah,
Did we lose him?
no.
Who?
I
Did
think-
you unplug your
I think you
headset?
unplugged your headset, dude.
I said touchdown pass, you stupid asshole.
Is this a one?
No, I didn't. I don't know what happened. Sorry.
It's
Sorry.
probably your head.
I didn't mean to interrupt. I didn't know. I thought he was done.
We're having a touching moment.
yeah,
and you just spoil
Jesus
it.
Christ.
MC was really engaged.
Yeah, it's totally okay, but it's you know, like I'm very sad, and you know, I guess if I have any advice about this, if you love somebody, and I've said this for many months when all these tragedies have happened around me, but more importantly, if somebody did something important for you, don't just assume that they know it. Like
Yeah.
Yeah. JP knows how important he was to me, but artistically, I know he knows as a person. But you know, like great guy, great personality, great music fan, great dad. So the world's a little less awesome.
Yeah, it sucks. Sorry to hear it, man.
Thank you.
And you know, I don't know if it's you know, I don't know if this I'd want to dedicate any of our episodes to anyone's memory, but you know, maybe we can do him proud and have a good episode for a change.
That's right, yeah.
Yeah. He had
I wouldn't
listened.
put money on it though.
Yeah, no. He thought I took it easy on you guys, so.
All right, well, let's continue with everyone else. We also have the vulgar guru of horror, star Blood Pig's Fetus, and the upcoming Morbid Tales, one-time contributor for Horror Hound magazine, and maybe someday soon a one-time filmmaker, Monster Zero.
That's right. I'm and Dynamo. I meant to get back to you on that.
It's okay. I just waited around in your backyard that day for 4 hours.
Hey, I was at work. I hope you enjoyed your time. But yeah, I'm getting some things straightened out as far as what I want to do, and you know, things are going to change here and there as we progress. But it'll be interesting to see how this all turns out. You know, it'll be fun, and I'm getting some character layouts going on right now, and I got a you know, a simple storyline. It's not it's not overly complicated. It's just very basic.
That's what you got to do.
Yeah. Very
Sure.
very plain and basic, and by the numbers.
Spoiler alert, look what we reviewed this week.
Yeah, exactly.
So we'll see what happens.
By the way, Mars, in the chat room, Leanna says, "I'm sorry for your loss, Mars," and then
Thanks, man.
Evil Corny says, "Sorry for your loss, Mars."
Thank you, Corny. I love you.
All right, we also have the Triumph Riding, Stage Erecting, Whiskey Drinking, Chief of Security, the Warrior of Nor'easters, America's Sweetheart, and Rick Rubin's stunt double, Ares, the God of War.
So this weekend I had some pretty
he's
good.
talking.
I had some pretty good news going on, but no, I guess Mars will just take that from me.
Well, I don't think he.
Pretty important thing in my life, and
Mars, you
we'll
took
just-
it, yeah.
We'll just tell everyone.
Mars must have paid for his school, huh?
Send all the bills to him, Ares.
Yeah.
You know what? Next time you want to take all the glory with that, you drive 4 hours and then deal with my parents and my in-laws for the weekend.
That's true.
Your parents like me, so it would have been nice, but you don't like me. I didn't steal the glory. I'm proud too. And you don't talk. Like, to be fair,
That's
like,
true.
I didn't think you'd say anything at all about it.
That's true. I mean, how is he supposed to know you were going to say anything?
we did have like a 10, 15-minute conversation before we went on air.
Nobody told me.
Well, you could have asked.
Yeah.
Hey, were you going to mention anything, or can I say something?
I did think about it, but I didn't.
Oh, good. You thought about it. Bravo.
Yeah, thank you. So, and if I was going to pay for anybody's school, I would pay for Michael Ravenshadow.
Thank you.
To get him that 8th grade equivalency. But
Oh, man, I would fucking dominate gym class now. Put me in the 4th grade.
You would not dominate gym class.
In the
You
4th
fucking
grade.
smoke, you asshole.
if you had to deal
You
with
can't
the
even run to the
children
bathroom.
every day for 10 minutes, you would die. You would not dominate any gym class.
No, like 4th grade. How?
4th grade.
Yeah.
They would fucking make you look like a small child.
How well did you do on the presidential fitness test?
Probably did great at the static arm hang because there was no weight involved.
I was sick that day.
The fans were blowing. He was just wafted in the breeze.
I get a lot of fucking ribbons, when you do track and field.
Yeah, they probably weigh more than you do.
Yeah, well, listen.
Participation.
Yeah, no, listen, that was the 80s. They didn't need those kind of fucking things.
That's not a ribbon. You just couldn't break the finish line.
No. I thought it was a boa.
Actually, you know what?
Aries, I am so sorry, but I
No,
would
no.
like to hear about it.
No. I do have one bit of good news I could share that Mars probably doesn't even know, is that
Pregnant.
my kid has his first real job now as well.
Whoa.
He got a job as a small little startup company down in Philly as their marketing department.
Wow.
They did not have one until they hired him.
Wow.
Really?
Department of
What's his major?
Marketing.
Oh, good. That would do it.
Good, that's good. You got lucky.
Yeah.
Is he going to be making more money than you?
Yes. Probably in about 6 months. He's got like the 6 months trial, and then he's going to be above me.
Yeah.
Well, then he's going to have to start paying your bills.
Yeah. Andy Aries, pick up. I do feel bad now.
Yeah, it was kind of low.
No, shut up. I'll show you.
Whoa.
Hey now.
Low. Talking about boas and the world greatest tag team, I've been carrying you around like a backpack for 2 years.
Yeah.
Oh.
Bring me over there.
Like a stinky boa.
Well, that's it for
No, it's
introductions.
not. Don't get fucking. Listen, Johnny.
I'm not done apologizing though. I feel really bad.
We're trying to get out of here early. Who's next?
Well, we could skip your intro and take 45 minutes off.
Listen.
That's a good point.
Let's not fighting with people.
Jesus Christ,
You
we got
started
Mothra
it.
hanging out in here. Oh, there it is. Just
Oh my God.
Is that stink bug?
It's just a stink bug.
Don't worry, guys.
Just a stink bug.
Just a stink bug. Was it? You afraid, Raven
Was it
Shadow?
gonna stink?
It could
Well, if
probably
you kill
carry
it.
you away.
If you kill it,
Oh, well.
so don't kill it.
Well, no
Hey,
guarantee.
hey, good movie.
Don't kill it. Yeah.
It was a good
Here,
movie.
put it in this thing and take it outside. How about that? This is my bug catching device.
The mother bug box.
The mother bug box. Yeah. There you go.
No, put a whole.
Trap him in your action sack.
No,
I feel so bad.
Oh, we're so fucking close.
Don't
Johnny.
worry
Who
about it,
the fuck's
Dynamo.
next?
The moment's passed.
No, I do feel bad. I actually care what Aries thinks.
No, you hurt my feeling, but now I got over it, so let's move on.
Feeling.
You hurt your feeling again?
Yep.
All right. We also have the chain smoking, hand kissing, baby shaking, Lorazepam loving, former comic book reading nerd, the official smoke chamber for Castle Wolfenstein, the pimp of promotions, the Italian rapscallion, the professional bullshitter, the cool principal, the proprietor of the sexy speakeasy, and the Parisian Brewhaw himself, Michael Ravenshadow.
That's right, Johnny. And Aries, you can tell your boy he's welcome. I got him that job. I called a friend of mine down there.
Okay, what was the company?
Marketing, more marketing.
Well, yeah.
Yeah,
It's amazing
Why
that
would
a
they
compa-
need to hire
That a company called marketing didn't have a marketing department.
There's a void to fill. They're not that good at it.
Wow.
They just had a name. And like, thank God this kid graduated.
I wish you would do that for the fucking show.
Yeah, check out Trick or Treat Radio. I got Justin to listen.
I don't think you did.
I did.
No. He said he found us through Paranormal Punchers.
Yeah.
And I know Mark Sheets.
We all
Yes.
do.
Right.
Yeah, we all do.
So
What do you have to do with it?
I did an intro once.
And they never they use like once.
I'll use it like 3 times.
Oh, okay.
I heard those ones.
All right. Well, that's all the intros. Let's That's fucking it. Amending the show. So that's what's up for tonight. That's everyone on the show. I don't know. Anyone have anything you want to talk about early on here? Wow, you guys are so fucking chatty.
I'm sorry. I was reading the chat room. I found that quite humorous there.
I'm looking at Aries whiskey.
Leanna's there. You're better at reading these than I am.
Let's see. Yeah, Leanna says marketing, more marketing. Someone just draw Raven Shadow in like a lemonade stand with marketing, more marketing as the sign.
5 cents. And the symbol for cents is backwards.
Yeah.
Like mine, like cents, like the 6 cents.
I'd
would-
rather have a dime.
That's true.
See, the thing is, Raven Shadow will probably end up paying like. Would you buy like actual lemons and squeeze them, fresh squeeze, or are you just buying the powder?
Freshly squoze. I'll get the fucking powder, dude.
So you can save some money than doing it that way.
Yeah.
He would just buy a bottle. He just wouldn't even bother. No effort whatsoever.
Simply lemonade.
No, I like the country time.
Nah, Simply Lemonade's the shit, man. That
Yeah.
stuff is good.
I'll do that.
I do that.
I'll do that. I'll do a line of lemonade. Fuck.
What?
Sorry. I'm in a bad place, Johnny. I'm looking at Aries whiskey, and it's like an old friend.
You should open a lemonade stand.
I might, yeah.
Yeah.
You get a permit, though, now.
Yeah, you do need a permit.
Yeah, you do.
Really?
Yeah.
That's fun.
And plus, you're not allowed near children, so those two things would be tough. For the
Well,
pandemic.
a hard lemonade.
So the true story: Tiny White's daughter got in trouble from Tiny White. This was another time where
Oh.
Tiny Wife called and yelled at me, even though I had nothing to do with it, because at her lemonade stand, she was only using quarter pouches for the lemonade. She was selling watered down lemonade,
Oh, wow.
full lemonade prices.
Oh, we got our boy Justin in the chat room.
Oh, what up, Justin? Just in time.
I think that's his nickname,
That's
right?
true, just in time.
Oh, don't even. Please.
Actually, my buddy, I don't know if I have any copies of the comic, but my buddy Steve Wood had a comic character that in a comic he put out called Just in Time.
Oh, and it's hot, too.
I hope Justin doesn't mind that name. I think it's gonna stick. Justin. Time.
That's why I was always complaining that Just Incredible, like, even though it didn't have anything to do with anything, always sat so poorly with me because it was the same pun that I had. Like, was on.
Oh, Raven Shadow, he says, haha, I haven't heard that my whole life.
Well,
You're fucking unoriginal is basically what he's saying.
that fucking hurts my feelings. So, at 2, Justin?
Yeah, but why does it hurt your feelings? You're the
Because-
one that's unoriginal.
You're the one that tried to make fun of his
Yeah.
name.
Yeah.
Hey, fuck you!
Yeah.
I don't make fun
Fuck
of his
me.
name.
No, fuck you.
Listen, you gotta turn your voice down.
No, I don't.
No.
I'll redline this motherfucker all day long.
All right, just in case. How's that?
Uh,
Something new.
No, that's a good one.
Just in case.
I named
I think
everybody.
that-
I named Patsy. I named First Time Mike. I named millions of people.
Millions, you sound like him.
First of all, I called him First Time Mike.
I called him First Time
I
Mike.
called him First Time
He
Mike.
gave me
You
fucking
can't
credit
take-
on my birthday show.
You can't take that away from me.
So you're
On-
taking it
on
because-
his birthday show.
It was very triumphant. No, I named it First Time Mike. We taking my thunder too? We Dynamo?
I start.
Oh, wow.
Them's
rough.
fighting words, you prick.
Wow.
Did you hear what he said? Did you hear what he said, Dynamo?
Yep. Thanks, Vince Russo.
Leanna says the naming is all a part of marketing, more marketing.
Thank you,
This is
Leanna.
how he argues. This is how he does business.
You're suspect.
Bro, I called him the game.
Bro.
Bro, I told The Rock to start speaking in the first person, bro.
Bro, I called him the king of kings, bro. Have you,
I called him First Time Mike.
I called him First Time.
Oh, we
First
should-
Time Mike.
go back to the tape.
Yeah. Oh, God. Very important.
You'll have to find out which one that was. How long
Maybe
do you
you
think?
said First Time Mike, but I'm the one who said let's call him First Time Mike.
I would say that's partial credit. Anyway.
Yeah. Give me
I don't
some
know, that's
credit
very-
here, Jesus.
I feel like this is how Congress works.
Yeah, we're gonna vote on it. Who named him?
I'm gonna filibuster.
As-
You might have mentioned that we shouldn't have slavery, but I was like, let's not have slavery.
And boom, look what happened.
Yeah, thanks, Lincoln.
Thank you. Lincoln, I've been thinking. What the hell have I been thinking?
Lincoln Marketing.
oh boy.
Lincoln Marketing Mutual and Associates.
Lincoln marketing, it's mind blowing.
Leanna says the demographic in the room are about right for Congress.
Wow, she's getting into it too.
We're all old white guys. That's us.
Yep.
At least we're not conservative though.
No.
Just
MZ is not only MZ is 1% African American though.
less than.
All right, 1.1% African American.
I am. And proud of it.
Justin Case or whatever his name's going to be. We'll have to think of a better
No,
one.
well, fucking
no.
try,
How about
yeah.
just Justin, for Christ's sake?
How about
He's-
Justin Reynolds?
Always got to slap labels on people.
And he says, by the way, this one, my first newer show, I'm going in order. I'm at 150. He says, you still do Neon Maniac / fiction for reviews and ratings. I missed that.
Which means he covered 11 shows in between the time that
he said
he said
that review,
and now.
pretty good.
Jesus. Work much, Justin?
He probably works a lot.
It was a lot.
Yeah.
That's how I listen to so many podcasts.
Yeah.
Not me.
Well, that's what he's. Yeah, because you're watching Mr. Fucking Belvedere.
Hey. Hey, man, fuck you. What do you got to keep bringing that shit up for? I love Mr. Belvedere. Greatest show of the 80s. Thank you very much. What's next, Johnny?
Soap is the greatest show.
Soap was awesome.
I'm rather fond of Charles in Charge myself.
Yeah.
Oh, you're
Yeah.
the one?
Yes.
Different strokes.
I heard there was a lot of different strokes on Charles in Charge. But
Yeah.
Yeah.
I
that
do-
shit's scary.
I did like the Bayo Willie Ames tag team, originating back from Zapped. Remember they were in Zapped?
Yeah, they zapped, yep.
Oh, somebody. All right, it wasn't MZ, but has anybody seen MZ's awesome list of guilty pleasure movies?
I saw one. A Cloak and Dagger.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Cloak
they're
and
all
Dagger's awesome.
fucking awesome movies.
Yeah, they're great.
Yeah, why
This
are they
dude's got
guilty
fucking-
pleasure?
Yeah, this dude's got fucking butt crack in his.
I don't know.
costume. He's like,
I'm-
you don't even know. I'm watching Cloak and Dagger.
I don't know,
Nobody's
so-
watching.
I don't know. Somehow it just kind of morphed itself from guilty pleasures to somewhat forgotten movies of the 1980s. You know, it somehow morphed into that. I don't know how it happened.
That's a
but-
different category.
Yeah, it's a completely different category.
Guilty
but
pleasure.
that's how it
Evil
happened.
Dead.
No, my first guilty pleasure was Fatty Drives the Bus. You know, and you guys know
Now
how I
that's
feel.
a guilty pleasure. Yeah,
That's
that
a great flick.
No.
That is such a great movie.
Nope.
Jesus Christ.
That may be the worst movie I've ever seen.
that
Fatty
movie
Drives the Bus.
That movie is fucking gold, man.
Monster Zero. If you want to know, like if you ever wondered if a party at Monster Zero's house is like the ones you see on TV or in a movie, only if the ones you see on TV in like a movie are like the Human Centipede, because he invites you over his house and does experiments by watching the fucking worst movies you've ever seen, and you have to watch them because it's his birthday, and you feel bad.
Then you feel bad. Then you feel worse when the night's over.
Oh, it sucks. I'm sitting there pissed off, like thinking of all the things I can do while Fatty rides the buses off.
You know, and the Lone Ranger with
Johnny Depp.
Armie
and-
Hammer and Johnny Depp.
That was actually good.
It
Talk
is
about
good.
it.
It's much better.
It really wasn't.
Yeah.
No.
No one's asking. No one's talking
Yeah.
to you, man.
Guess what? You kind of are. You're looking at me, and you're speaking. So I'm assuming you're talking to me.
Me and Aries gonna be a tag team.
But
Tag me
that
in.
really it wasn't a bad movie. I mean, it wasn't a good
You're
movie.
right,
Thank you.
wasn't-
You're right. It
bad.
wasn't.
Thank you
It
for
wasn't a bad
backing
No.
up our point.
No, that was all kinds of bad.
It was
like
more
that
violent than I thought it was going to be.
that's
right?
that's not
Yeah.
even like a watchable bad.
Stop
That was
it.
just bad.
Yeah, no, it's terrible. And I'm not very sensitive to these sort of things, but I don't know that having Johnny Depp be a Native American in 2000 something is a good idea.
Well, that was
Yeah.
just a poor casting choice.
Yeah,
I mean,
he's part Native American.
MZ's part African American. We're not gonna
That's
have him play Kunta Kinte.
Yep. I'll be in Roots too.
yeah.
Still rooting?
back back to the root, and
My name's not Richard.
Told me Monster Zero.
Monster Zero.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
Wow.
Or Malcolm Zero. I mean, I gotta get a hold of him again. I haven't seen him in a while.
Don't get a hold of it.
We're enlightened now.
Oh,
Is it
man.
whitened?
Jesus Christ.
That's so racist.
Well, you're both racist because you both like Johnny Depp as a Native American. It's insensitive. You cads.
Look, I'm not going to say that Johnny Depp in The Lone Ranger as a Native American is a good choice. It wasn't.
Yeah.
Far from it.
I don't give a fuck about that stuff. I'm not that sensitive. I don't care what they fucking do. Like, didn't offend me, but like,
No, I didn't find it. I didn't really find it offensive. I just think it was a poor casting choice.
So
I
the
thought
number
that's
2
just
actor in the
that
movie
big.
is a poor casting choice. So okay. So
Yep.
what's your next argument for a good movie?
What?
You're arguing it's a good movie.
Yeah.
But your first argument was that the second billing.
Oh, okay,
actor
so- okay,
is a
all
poor
right, all right.
casting choice.
There was decent action. I loved like
But time inappropriate explosions.
Well, yeah.
Period. Excuse me. Period and inappropriate explosions. Go on.
first of all, there was decent action. I really liked the action in the movie. It really started kicking in when the what's the name of that song? It's the Lone Ranger theme, but it's got a
yeah.
William
Dun, dun, dun,
Tell
dun, dun,
overture.
dun. Yeah, whatever.
The William Tell overture was playing. I mean, it was just a cool movie. I mean, I liked it.
There's a good buddy dynamic. The two of
No,
them.
there was not. I watched about 15 minutes of that movie, and I wanted to fucking get an inappropriate explosion. Like,
Did you shut it off after 15 minutes?
He's not
no,
you.
I left,
He had an
I left it
inappropriate
on.
explosion in his pants.
Yeah, no, I left it on, and I probably, I don't know, did something productive, like masturbate or fell asleep or
No.
something worth doing. Here's what I had to say about that Long Ranger movie. There's a lot of fucking movies, and if that's what you stop on, you must be out of movies.
It was over a friend's house.
Yeah, that's not a good friend.
No, well.
That friend was it MZ's birthday.
Yeah, we watched Ranger Rides the Bus, so whatever the fuck.
Ranger?
Why don't you guys watch the 1980s Long Ranger? That shit's the bomb.
Was it a double feature of that and Wild Wild West?
No, it was. It might have been. I had the thoughts and prayers with me, so maybe that's why we watched it. And I think we watched the John Carter, too.
The John Carter.
Yeah.
Wow.
Which wasn't that bad either.
The
John Carter
2.
They made a sequel.
Oh,
Still
you
Carter.
said 2.
Oh, also
Still Cartering?
Still Cartering, yeah.
John Carter. Also.
In their defense, while I was stuck on a cruise ship, 8 or 9 rum and cokes in, I thought that the new Tarzan movie was pretty good. I'm afraid to go back and watch it as a sober person on dry land, but in those desperate times, I enjoyed myself.
I do want to say big ups to the El Rey Network this Saturday. I didn't really do anything, but they were showing The Crow, The Warriors, and Big Trouble in Little China like all day on El Rey.
Nice.
You
All
should,
day
you
on
should
all
own
day.
all those
I
anyway.
do, but I didn't have to go into the box to get them.
But okay, I'm not familiar with El Rey, but I'm assuming commercials,
There is commercials.
editing.
It's Robert
Yeah.
Rodriguez's network.
Yeah.
The commercials on El Rey Network are better than most station shows, though.
But still, he just rang off 3 outstanding movies that I would not want to sit and watch with commercials or editing.
Well, I was doing stuff over the course of the day. Took a nap. Walked upstairs, walked downstairs.
Really, over the course of the day, I took a nap.
Yeah, and I watched 3 movies.
You got tired watching the 3 movies. You
Oh
needed
my
a
god!
nap.
I felt like I was going to Coney Island. It was rough.
Some more important stuff.
Yeah.
Justin says, I do about 3 episodes a day at work. I'm a welder, and I work 12 plus hours a day.
Oh man.
Nice.
Be
So there you
careful.
go, MZ. He listens to 3 a day while working.
Wow.
And Leanna says Van Helsing is still my biggest guilty pleasure.
Yeah, it's a guilty pleasure of mine, too.
And
Oh.
Justin says, yeah, I love the show since I heard it on Paranormal Punchers. Evil Corny says Cheers was my favorite 80s show.
There you go.
That's a good one, too.
Oh, I
Cheers
love
was a
Cheers.
good show.
I went to Boston for the final episode.
Oh, nice.
Really?
You went to the Bull and Finch.
No, I didn't make it into
No,
there.
Fenway.
Oh, okay.
But I sat in the Boston Common, the Gardens, and watched the show on
Nice.
the big screen.
Nice. Hey, I have a question for you guys. I just want to let you know I love you three to varying degrees.
Oh God, he's going to insult us.
No.
No, I'm not. What I want to know is tell me if this is okay behavior or if I did Raven Shadow.
Wait, I got to ask. You said 3. There's 4 of us in the room.
Look, Johnny's fucking perfect.
No, I said 4, didn't I?
No, you said 3.
Well, I don't want to hear what John has to say about this already because he's always giving me a hard time about things. Okay, listen. Tell me your honest opinion. Is this good behavior or Raven Shadow behavior? Because I can't tell. I got out of work on Sunday night, and I went to my office in my bed in there / couch with a bottle of rum, and didn't get out until it was time to go to work today. That's probably a good thing to do, right?
I went to the couch and a bottle of rum. Yo ho ho and a.
Did you make love to the bottle?
I don't know if I made love to it.
He fucked it.
Well, he probably pissed in it if he didn't get up.
There was a dick in the bottle.
Oh look, there's more rum in it.
My dick in a bottle.
Yeah, no, I think I did get up and pee, but
All
maybe.
right.
But he didn't make it to the bathroom. He just got up.
Stand up, piss, back to bed.
He had a bucket.
When you're in my house next, don't sit. 2 things. When you're in my house next, don't sit in Aries' chair. Thing number 2, don't tell Aries.
I had to piss out one of those sliding
Doors?
windows.
Window?
Yeah, that's
Oh really?
Why'd you piss out a sliding window?
Well, because I was partying with a lady one night and we didn't want to.
And you were trying to impress her?
Yeah.
Honey, look what I can do.
Well, I stood from the doorway. Okay. No, we didn't want to go to a fucked up, so I didn't want to see your parents. So like, we had to arc, try to like on the bed and try to like.
Into the mic. Into the mic. There's only a handful of people that can see you.
Well, it's exciting. But no, I had to lay on the bed and try to move it to piss out the screen window.
Oh my fucking
You pissed
God.
through a screen.
Yeah.
How'd that
A
work out?
screened window.
Well, then she was fucking with me too, started poking me from the back. Now it pissed me off, so to speak.
But
yeah,
really,
I pissed off.
the poking you was the hardest part, not through a screen?
Well, I'm 6'3", and it wasn't like the biggest room in the world, but I had to like kneel down. and,
but
like,
but through a screen?
yeah.
You couldn't
Yeah.
open
Did
the
you pull up-
screen.
Oh yeah, I didn't think about that. Yeah, it would have been smart. Well, it wasn't. Listen, if I was too fucked up to walk upstairs, I don't think thinking. Yeah, that's. I should have called
So
you.
you basically beat on this lady's house.
No, outside the window.
I don't care how precision you can piss. It's a screen.
There's holes in it. There's tiny holes.
You slide your dick through the hole in the screen?
No, not my.
Then you're hitting the screen.
Oh, well, I mean, it rains out. It'll get fucking cleaned.
Jesus Christ.
Oh my fucking God! No wonder we've never met that lady. It's fucking class act.
That was a weird night.
You peed on my house.
Shit on my house.
So yeah,
It's a
that's
good thing you didn't have to
okay.
take a shit, otherwise it'd be like a Play-Doh Fun Factory.
Gross. That's gross.
I didn't have that visual. Thank you.
Look, here's one shaped like.
Honey, open the window. Surprised the fuck I eat that
Okay,
tomorrow.
I'm all right. I'm not turning into Raven Shadow, right?
Not yet.
Welcome to the club.
Wow.
So-
All
kept
right,
going into Osman chat trying to pretend I was normal, hoping that they wouldn't know somehow that I was wearing the same clothes that I had on Sunday.
let me catch up in the chat room. Slaygoths, I think he was talking about 80s shows The Master, starring Sho Kosugi and Lee Van Cleef.
There you go. That was my jam.
The shit right there.
Leanna, Leanna says, I was not alive in the 80s, so...
Hey, you missed out on a great time.
And then she said The Lone Ranger was not good.
Yeah,
Aw.
but you know that there were shows in the 80s, right? Like, I'm sure that you had to have seen a show from the 80s.
And they're playing all over the place. You can find
Yeah.
them.
Yeah.
I saw the Brady Bunch. as a
And
kid, but
everything
I'm
is
not from
re-
the 60s.
and everything is being from the 80s is basically being researched now. So
Yeah, go check out some shows from the 80s.
yeah.
Randomly pick shows from the 80s and make up your own mind.
Yeah, not Dukes of Hazzard though. That
We-
does not.
Mr. Belvedere, silver spoons, different
I am from-
strokes.
I am from this point forth renaming her. My nickname for her is El Rey.
We also have our boy Matchell of Omaha hanging out.
Hey.
And he says, hey, everybody. He says, El Rey is pretty great.
See?
And,
It is great.
and then he says, El Rey is uncut after 9 p.m., or at least used to be.
Yeah.
Still commercials, but pretty crazy to watch a New York Ripper unedited on a cable station.
Nice.
Jesus.
Leanna says, what the fuck is happening here with this screen window shit? MZ, you took this into places I didn't want to go.
No one wanted to go.
Yeah. And Corny says, sounds like he peed on some sheetrock.
That was a bush.
He obviously didn't get any action after that, right?
Oh no, she was a wild girl.
Oh yeah, Give Me a Break
Yeah.
too was a good movie. Was a good show.
I've heard of people that like to be peed on but not have their room peed on.
No, it wasn't out the window.
No,
Out
it
the
wasn't.
window.
If the screen is not up, it just pulled up in that area in between the windowsill and the screen.
There'd be some splashback.
Yeah.
No, man,
Yeah.
it's all the right. It's all angle and leverage. Then it was, what are you gonna do? Might have had a towel.
Experiment. We're gonna have to watch you
There's
do
a lot of
this. so-
experiments in that room.
All right, we gotta start to move on. Here.
Yeah, let's do a quick intro.
All right, so
Who hasn't peed out a window before?
I don't think I have.
I don't think
I've
I have.
peed out of a window, but at least I have the decency to have the fucking
Move the
screen open.
Yeah.
I'm with MZ on that one.
When you fucked up,
Always open the screen.
you don't always think. You don't always think with your head.
I've peed
I
out.
think
a
you were
window.
thinking with
Just
the
thinking
wrong
with the
head.
wrong head. Yeah.
Is that better or worse than peeing out a window?
What?
Peeing on stage.
Well, that's because you pissed yourself.
I don't know. Ask Gigi Allen that.
Which
Can
club?
Can we summon the ghost of Gigi Allen for a for an answer to that?
No, I don't want that.
I threw up on stage too, maybe about 1 million times. But yeah, Raven Shadow, I'm not positive why you don't. Do you know what a strainer is?
Yeah, like macaroni.
Yeah, so if you jump water through a strainer, is the strainer fucking dry on the other end? Like a lot of
I
water
mean,
goes-
it was summertime.
It was summertime.
Summertime.
That makes it okay.
It evaporated.
Do you have any stones? Was that what you're looking for?
No.
Kidney stones? No.
Yeah.
Leanna has never peed on or through a window.
Well, the night's still early. Don't limit yourself.
All right, let's wrap this up.
All right.
No limit soldiers.
Yeah.
So if you guys want to help support the show, head on over to trickortreatradio.com and you can scroll down. You're going to see a link for Amazon. See a little logo. Click on that and it'll bring you right to Amazon. And it'll input our affiliate link. Everything you purchase in that session gets attributed to us. Doesn't cost them any extra, Raven Shadow.
But it helps keep the lights on.
That's right. And we also, if you want specific things that we mentioned on the show, we actually started up an Amazon store. So if you go to amazon.com/shop/the Deadites, and movies that we discuss, that we talk about, and just other things that come up during the course of the show, I'll just toss them in there. So if you guys hear about something that you that you want to check out, start there. I don't put everything because it might take me too long to put everything in there, but the ones that we talk about for a significant amount of time, I'll put in there. So it's amazon.com/shop/the Deadites. So go give that a look. And if you guys want to buy some stuff from our store, trickortreatradio.com, and then go ahead, click on store, and in there you're going to find digital content, Trick or Treat Radio Greatest Hits, volumes 1 through 3. You're going to find some premium content from some old Deadite shows. And there's also some physical goods. We got some T-shirts, we got some buttons, we got other stuff like that. So give it a look, trickortreatradio.com. And think that is about it. Raven Shadow,
Yes.
you sit down to watch Feral. What do you do to prepare for this movie?
I get nervous, Johnny. I thought I was going to have to give you a call. I thought it wasn't going to work out.
But you made it happen.
It was nervous, yeah.
Was Ollie nervous?
He was on the edge. He was on the edge. He felt it. He felt there was something because he knew by my posture and it was a bad day and it didn't help feeling this anxiousness. Is that what you call it? Anxiousness? Scared.
Anxiety?
Anxiety. That too. All that stuff. But it was nice. So in preparation, I watched on Sundance Channel.
Mm-hmm.
They had Stephen King's Silver Bullet.
You still paying for cable?
But yeah,
Okay.
what you want to
save a lot of money there, but
do you want to buy it for me?
what? Do I want to buy cable from you?
You know, do you want to
What do
pay
you-
my?
is this your marketing
Yeah,
now?
hey, come buy my cable. Come watch my TV. Everything. Like, instead of
You're
like,
gonna charge to get in your fucking house to watch cable?
Yeah, instead of like Airbnb, it's like, oh, you want to watch fucking Game of
Air
Thrones?
CNC?
Air CNC. Yeah. You come over. You don't want to pay for cable.
CNC Raven Shadow Factory.
So yeah, you go. Give me $10. You can watch Game of Thrones.
Why? What? You could pay $10 and get like HBO Go for a month.
All right, for you, $5. So as my mind's thinking. I got a new career path.
$5 is a good deal.
See, Dynamo's coming over. Then I strapped on.
You did not.
I didn't.
Do you love a scary story? Do you love to dance? The Big Scary Monster Haunts at Midnight is a collection of dark songs about sex, love, death, revenge, and the end of the world. Brought to you by the world's greatest monster hunting electroshock band, the Deadites. Available on iTunes, Google Music, Amazon, CD Baby, and all other digital distribution sites.
Trick or Treat Radio is the greatest podcast ever invented. The spelling is very bad. I'm not sure who wrote this. And the Deadites, is that a company that procures houses? The Deadites. Oh, it's the Deadites. The Deadites are a fantastic musical act. That is what I was supposed to say. And there you go. There it is. Cheeseburger. Remember to rent The Fly, because that's a good movie for making love to.
Jeff Goldblum, thank you so much for joining us, and hopefully we can
You're welcome.
get you on the show again sometime soon.
What's up, y'all? It's me, the Yeti. I'm the guy who put the Leia back in Himalaya. And as I'm wandering around the mountains up here, checking out my Twitter feed, there's nobody I like to follow more than my good friends the Deadites. The Deadites make songs, fight monsters, podcast, and they're on Twitter. What the hell else do you want, you selfish sons of a bitches? At any rate, you want to follow the world's greatest electroshock monster hunting band? Like your friend the Yeti does. Go to Twitter and search for @the_Deadites and let the fun begin. All the Yeti bitches love the Deadites. So if you want to meet girls, especially Yeti girls, follow the Deadites on Twitter @ the Deadites. Peace in the Far East, everybody!
Hey, you matzo heads. This is Larry Fine, and you're listening to Trick or Treat Radio.
right, we returned on Trick or Treat Radio.
Brr.
Whoa. I put new pads on my headphones, and it's crazy. I can hear better. Well, it's louder, I should say. It sounds weird.
So we should not yell at you anymore?
Well, I can change the volume, but it's weird. I can hear myself better. I wonder if they don't let in as much sound. Yeah. All right. No one cares.
Well, you know what? In case anyone is really wondering as to why I'm sitting here when we come back from break.
Oh
yeah. No one. It was weird. No one mentioned the fact that I did not get up and leave the room.
Oh wait, I think I know what it is.
Oh yeah. Do we remember this conversation from last week?
Yeah.
Yes.
You've kept up with it?
I can't say I'm 100%, but yes. Last week.
That's not for you.
No.
That's for Aries for not
this
going.
This shit's for
with
me.
you.
I'm getting some praise here.
Wait, let's give him a round of applause. Come on.
Yeah. No, last week we left here. I had probably about a half a pack of cigarettes, and I have one of those cigarettes left.
Wow.
Oh shit.
Yeah, I'm proud of you.
Look at you, dude.
Yeah, look at me. Oh yeah.
That's
I'm
pretty
joining
awesome,
the
dude.
race of non-smokers.
Raven Shadow, don't breathe on him,
I'm
whatever
excited.
you do.
What do you think, Raven Shadow?
No, I'm really proud of him.
No,
You're
you're
losing.
Aries,
Yeah.
because you did that, I'm going to give up Game of Thrones.
No. You need to give up soda.
Well, I'm not drinking soda right now.
I am.
I doubt that.
I am drinking. I finished a low-calorie Gatorade, and I have a coffee.
Low-calorie Gatorade.
Yeah, it wasn't very good, but I was.
I don't believe you.
It's true. I don't know what to tell you. I'm gonna have a soda in a little while, but I haven't yet.
No,
I'm very proud
you
of you.
just need to give up soda.
You
You know what? Everyone in this show needs to give up their bad habits. You, Raven Shadow,
No.
needs to give up smoking.
I've given up coffee and
No,
I've
no,
given
no.
up whiskey.
Coffee's not really a bad habit.
I said bad habits.
Yeah.
You need to give up smoking.
No.
Mars, you need to give up soda. MZ,
I'll have to know I didn't
you
drink
need to
soda
give
for
up
like-
masturbation.
Oh, fuck that. I ain't giving that up for nothing.
Johnny,
Yeah.
you need to knock off that vegan shit.
I've been eating better and working out, so I'm working on my thing. That's my thing. I go to the gym like 5 days a week for like 5 weeks.
Yeah, that's great. You just need to give up that vegan shit.
Vegan shit.
Aries.
What?
I didn't drink soda for 3 days actually.
Were you drinking water?
He probably couldn't find any.
No, I didn't drink it. I don't know.
You weren't drinking anything. You need to
I
drink
drank
water.
You drink
No, I drank rum and pills. And,
rum and pills.
Yeah, it's good.
That's
good,
that's
partner.
A
pretty
lot of rum with you lately, man. What's going on?
Yeah, I hadn't been drinking in a while, but now I'm fucking drinking like crazy again. This will be the longest I haven't drank in about a week. I'm starting to get nervous.
Yeah, Raven. What's your vice?
So many things. No, I was doing about 6 to 8 cups of coffee a day.
Okay, well that is a lot.
That was a lot.
It's just the caffeine alone.
Yeah, well, I mean, caffeine, it's more the ritual. And then there's a lot of whiskey was flowing for a while.
In the coffee?
So Irish coffee.
Yeah, no. Yeah, if you watch the Ric Flair 30 for 30, me and the Nature Boy had a lot in common for a little while. And I don't have beer on Mondays or Wednesdays.
What are you, religious?
No, I just take a break on those days.
You don't have beer on Monday and Wednesday.
Yeah.
But the other 5 days?
Oh, I'm all in. Make up for lost time.
Just beer?
Yeah, no. I stopped. I mean, not that I won't do a shot if it's bought for me, but I'm just taking a break from the hard.
Oh, too bad it's Wednesday.
Oh, I can't do Irish cream, dude. There's like 3 things that I don't drink. and
Someone's gonna drink that. It came with my bottle, and I don't know what the fuck to do with it.
I can guarantee you that Dr. Joey Tron will drink it. He just wasn't here on Saturday.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, Irish cream. Yeah, I don't like that. Or whatever that rum chata fucking thing is.
Rum
chata?
chata?
Rum chata or something. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm guessing you're saying that all kinds are wrong because the fuck is that?
You know, he's like, rum
Is that like
chata.
lambada?
Yeah.
The forbidden rum? Rum chata?
Rum chata. Dun, 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 dun. Yeah, no. And I don't like tequila.
All right.
Yeah, so yeah, Irish cream and tequila is what I don't drink. And Goldschlager. I don't like that.
No, Goldschlager has treated me poorly too.
Yeah.
I used to love tequila, but I had I wrote a lot of our most favorite, a lot of people's favorite Deadite songs, like "Too Sexy for Robots" and I'm a lot of them. And someone had given my dad a case of tequila. It was 4 bottles.
Yeah.
And I drank them over the course of a weekend. I wrote a lot of good songs though.
That's fine. I get some hits.
Yeah. But I threw up by Sunday. I was throwing up like a fucking train.
Throwing up like a train?
Yeah, I was walking 3 feet, shuffling 3 feet, stopping, throwing up like the train.
Chicka, chicka,
throwing
chicka,
up
chicka.
snow. Yeah.
What kind of train are you riding?
Chicka, chicka, chicka. Oh! Oh!
Excuse me, I'm sick.
Throwing up like a train.
Excuse
I say
me,
that all
I'm
the
sick.
time. I'm sure you haven't got it.
Oh, shit. Chugga chugga.
I think we have the episode title.
Spell that.
Good
luck.
Yeah, good luck spelling it.
How
The
about?
only other time I did that was port wine. I drank a bottle of port wine, and that didn't treat me right.
Oh, I like port wine. It's good. There's a higher alcohol percentage in that.
Ugh.
You know
Just
that?
trying to do like I sometimes try to do things like what would Tom Waits do, and they normally end up landing me in the hospital or at least vomiting.
Yeah.
So.
All right, we got a movie to talk about. We're going to talk about Feral, this film from... It just got released now in 2018, but it looks like it hit some festivals in 2017. Was that the Kenor?
Yes. The Canoa loves Farrell.
I'm a little nervous.
He loves Elf.
Yes.
Well, anyways, the film is...
He loves Walk Hard.
The film is 90 minutes. It's an action drama horror movie. And it is directed by Mark Young and written by Mark Young and Adam Fraser. And it stars Scout Taylor Compton, Olivia Liccardi, Lou Temple, Renee Olstead, Brock Kelly, Landry Albright, and George Finn. And the synopsis is terrible. So I'm going to read that one, and I'm going to read a better one. The synopsis on IMDb says, students fight to survive a weekend in the woods. What does that tell you? Nothing. So this one I like better. It says, a wild animal attacks 6 medical students on a weekend hike in the woods. One by one, they become infected with a feral disease, turning them into rabid, bloodthirsty creatures, and the vacation becomes a nightmare as they fight to survive each other. It's a little bit better. Maybe they wanted to be a little bit more ambiguous and you know, have a not really know what's going on. I don't know, but I think that
It's like Feral. It's a movie.
yeah, Feral. It's a movie.
Farrell. He was good on Saturday Night Live.
That's the tagline, I think, MZ. Feral. It's a movie. It's going to be on the DVD box art.
Yep.
All right, so let's jump into this one, I guess. IFC Midnight put this one out, and this is
A movie.
pretty much by the book as it gets, I think. Right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean it is what it is.
Yeah. All right, we're done. No.
It's funny too because any kind of potential twist they sort of could have had to like kind of find new ground, they fucked it up right away with like stunt naming.
Yeah, they kind of played it safe and by the numbers, and I mean the only real, I mean there is something here, there is something to enjoy here, but it's constantly missed. It's just constantly missed. There's something missing in this movie, whether it's technical or
a point.
I mean, I think that this was an exercise in sort of paint by numbers and trying to see if we paint those numbers with different colors, how different it would be. Like that like it was like I feel like it had to be by design. It couldn't have been like that somebody sat down like and literally accidentally wrote what happens in every single one of these movies, like hitting every single bumpy spot in the road, right? Like when we did it, it paints the sands red. Is that what it's
Stains.
called? Stains. We complained that they didn't hit a lot of the conventions, and this one hit them, like every single one. Every single one, and again, like in naming one of your characters like Talbot, like you've pretty much just like as soon as you get the name, you're like well that's you know what I mean, it's like making Brad Dourif like a character in a movie,
right?
Not tipping that he's a maniac, or having like a character be named like Lovecraft, we know who the bad guy is, it's just like I don't know, I will say, just to put all my cards on the table, I didn't dislike this. And I think that it is a testament to the fact of how I actually liked it quite a bit. And then a character that had died sat up. And I was like 99.9 less interested from that point forward. Because I would have liked a story about fucking crazy-ass wood people going crazy-ass nuts. But that's, this was a little bit overthought. And I think that Scout Taylor Thompson, is that how you say her? Thompson? Is that it?
Compton.
She's fucking,
Compton.
Compton. She's fucking great. Like, I love her in everything that she's in. And I think that she's just I didn't love this, but I think that she was literally just like, I felt like this movie was made fast. It felt like. I think that they were trying to do something a little more organic in this. Like, did you notice that the makeup seemed minimal in this? Like,
yes,
people makeup.
There's actually one of the, I think it was the first. There was one makeup. It was when the girl who got her eye like messed up. It was the second person to get attacked. You could see there was like puckering, and you could see the edges of the appliance that they put on her face. It was really bad.
Yeah. That's actually not even what I meant. I meant like the makeup of the actors.
Oh,
like I felt like they were trying to do something very naturalistic, and like a lot of the lighting I felt was kind of, at least what they would think, lantern light would be, or soft lighting like that would be at times. But I think that like all the things that you could say that's bad about her is bad about everybody in the movie, and I feel like the movie was a little bit like, I wouldn't say mumblecore, but it was like a little bit. I felt like they were going for this whole like naturalistic thing, and it just kind of, it felt like everybody was a little bit tongue-tied, like the whole cast.
Well, let me take a step back. I actually want to let me read some of the stuff in the chat room, and then I'm going to set the scene with the movie here. But a few people, about 10 minutes ago, said congratulations, Aries. It was Matchel of Omaha and Leanna. Said congratulations on quitting, or giving it the old college try.
No, I'm not quitting. I'm becoming a non-smoker.
Okay, there you go.
Oh, it's even worse.
Evil Corny says coffee and whiskey are my bread and butter. Leanna says Raven Shadow's Vice is peeing
this
through
toaster
screens.
must be messy.
Leanna says Raven Shadow's Vice is peeing through screens.
One time that happened.
And Marsman, your boy Doc Sedal is hanging out.
Nice, very nice.
This
I love
is finally
him.
in.
He missed me saying nice things about him before.
Johnny, can I say something from the chat?
Yes.
This just in. How's that? Evil Corny asked a question. He goes, "Hey, first time Mike, who gave you your nickname?" And first time Mike says Michael Ravenshadow did. His first episode, he was in the chat room. It was the Baskin review.
Oh, there you go.
Well, I guess I could just go fuck myself.
You can.
For status.
And
I actually
that wasn't just in. That was 7 minutes ago.
Yeah.
But Evil Corny just sent it to me. So thank you, Evil Corny.
Yeah, thanks,
Guy.
Evil Corny.
You don't have to go look now, but during the break, I snuck over to someone's house nearby. I did a little research. I figured something out and got some. I put it up for auction as Trick or Treat Radio.
I saw. I was just going to mention that.
Yeah, and so we might be $999 richer very soon. So
Yeah, so Mars posted, if you guys are in the Trick or Treat Radio Facebook group, Trick or Treat Radio memorabilia for $999. Authentic Trick or Treat Radio memorabilia, real life Michael Raven Shadow screw. It looked like it was gonna say screen, but then it says ... toilet. So it's a Pete on screen for $999.
There you go. You're welcome.
You're welcome.
How do I bid on that?
Yeah.
Just go look.
That was fine.
All right. So in this movie, did you guys even catch like why were they? Did they even say why they were in the woods? Were they just going camping?
They were. It was
students.
just, yeah, they were just going camping, as far as I could tell.
Because
Yeah, they had just graduated and were celebrating.
okay, it just seemed like a weird thing. Someone was like, "Oh, I think we're going this way," and they got kind of lost a little bit. So of course, they as always happens in the woods. So they ended up camping out, kind of where not necessarily where they wanted to be,
Right.
but somewhere else. And I thought that these characters, at least initially, were really unlikable,
Agreed.
like really bad, especially that fucking asshole Jesse. What a dick he was, huh?
Yeah. What a stupid name that is, too.
But no, that character was terrible. Like because he has like his girlfriend, and you could tell he still has something for Alice,
Yep.
Right.
who is played by Scout Taylor Compton.
Mm-hmm.
But anyways, like he still had something with like some feelings for her, but he was completely cold and callous to his girlfriend to the point of like unbelievability. It was just like, dude, come on.
Well, it's like the male characters in this movie, outside of Lou Temple, was just throwaway characters. They were just there just to set up the premise, and then
I don't know about that.
because I do because I mean
80%. I'm sorry, you said not Lou Temple.
Yeah, not
Okay,
counting Lou
okay,
Temple.
gotcha. Okay, gotcha.
And they were just set up for the premise. Meanwhile, 80% of the film is carried by the, I guess you could say, 3 female leads.
Yeah, which is I've no
Which I'm
problem with that,
perfectly
yeah.
fine with, and the way things are set up here, it's the way things are framed. Certain scenes, certain dialogue, was reminiscent of other horror films that we've seen, and it was damn it!
Is he being attacked? He got attacked by a bug. So, there was, yeah. So
I'm not the Red Cross and I'm not the Orkin Man.
So they're all in the tents and they're all like around a campfire and they're just kind of talking about school and like, oh, they're all doctors or most of them are, except for the significant others in some cases. But and then there was like one comment where one girl was like talking about like, oh, that must be like talking about animal, and one girl had like a fur coat and she's like, oh, like you're wearing a dead animal or something like that,
Yeah.
And it just seemed kind of like it didn't really give you any. It just seemed like kind of a weird kind of throwaway line. It didn't really even give you anything about that character. Like, I mean, was she vegan? I mean, it doesn't. It didn't even. It just was kind of this weird kind of throwaway line, and then from that point on, I feel like you got like some insight into them because they all split up. There's 3 couples. They all split up into their own tent, and I feel like you got a sort of a little bit of dialogue between each character as they were in their tents, and it was just really like poorly written and just bad dialogue and just weird. I don't know. I just hate all these fucking characters.
It's like they just like give you this brief synopsis on each character that we're supposed to know exactly where they stand, given 1 or 2 lines of dialogue that they throw out.
Yeah,
and we're supposed to carry with that throughout the remainder of the film, and it just doesn't work.
There was some cheap stunts too, not stunts, I guess, but we have the dude, who was it? Not Jesse, but the other dude, Matt. We had Matt who proposed to his girlfriend in the tent, like the most unromantic proposal I've ever seen.
And immediately after goes to take a leak.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Like it was.
Did he piss through a screen in the tent?
He should have. He should have. It just was.
You do great, honey. All right, open it.
She is there like, oh my God, I can't believe this. Yes, I'll marry you. And she's like so excited, and he's like, honey, nature calls.
Yeah, I gotta take a leak.
And he fucking leaves the tent. Like, if you like, I don't know. Like that just was like dumb.
Yeah, you would think like. Oh, go ahead.
No, you first, sir.
Oh, I was just like, if you were gonna do that, you were like, okay, let me take a leak
first.
Yeah,
yeah,
and then I'll try to have this really romantic moment with my girl.
Yeah, because who knows? Maybe something would happen, right?
Yeah,
maybe they would get intimate.
Yeah, right. But instead, he asked her walked for about 45 minutes away where they couldn't hear him scream or hear the monster.
Right,
but it
right,
was-
right. No one could hear. Yeah.
through the fucking tents. It's not like they were getting down or anything like that. Like, so all the tents were fucking
Way too fucking
backlit,
close.
like some fucking hee-haw Hollywood squares. Like,
And then you know. So who was it? Matt. So Matt goes out. He's taking a piss,
Yeah.
and all of a sudden he hears something in the woods. He sees something.
What? Aries is
Give me the bug
what are you guys fucking acting it out
No,
over there?
because I just... Yeah, there it is. Don't move.
Oh, Aries is fucking Ranger Aries catching
Ranger
bugs
danger.
on MZ.
I'm sorry, I just looked over and it was just on him.
I caught Aries' eye and he was like trying not to laugh.
Show the,
We got the stink bug caught. Aries caught him.
We'll let him
trying to
out
go
when
home.
when we're done.
Raven Chow, you can let him out when you smoke.
oh, so many fucking bugs out
Give
there.
him offer him a cigarette.
You want to smoke?
You want to smoke, bud?
Yeah, I do.
Let them out when you pee.
So he sees
yeah.
this creature coming along. He hears it. It's like this.
So yeah, you see it off in the distance, and it's
Yeah.
like perched on like a branch, right?
Right.
It's clearly kind of a human, but there's something weird.
Weird about
Yeah,
Yeah. I thought it was fucking awesome, actually.
I agree. I thought the creature was really awesome.
The creatures were really well done, and I think the sound effects that went along with it also kind of gave it a really mysterious look and feel about them.
No, I don't think it was a mysterious feel. I think the Foley effects guy didn't know when he pressed the button that said Predator, it wasn't just a generic fucking monster. It was a fucking Predator.
I liked it. I
Making
liked
the
it.
Predator noise the whole time.
I didn't think of Predator. I mean, I when you say it, I guess I can see some similarities,
Yeah.
but I didn't think of it at the time. And I thought that when the creature was on screen, it was cool because I thought it looked good and it sounded distinct, like from everything else in the movie. Like it just had it was a kind of a cool thing when it was on screen. Now, I think that as we're talking about, like the pacing of this was really, really weird because we have the wedding proposal, which really the only point of that was to garner some sympathy for these characters just like an instant before one of them dies. It just was really cheap. Like I would have liked to have seen them maybe kind of like stretch out that opening scene to add some more tension, maybe not too much, but maybe even like 5 more minutes or something.
Well, because she was the one that made the comment, correct?
Which comment?
About the fur.
Oh, yeah.
No, that was
the other one?
The girlfriend.
It was Jules,
Jules, yeah.
who was Alice's
okay.
girlfriend, who made the
Yes.
comment.
Okay. Well,
And he made the comment about, a nice friend or something like that. Or,
Yeah,
he
yeah.
was like, when he went to the tent, he was all pissy.
yeah. Well, I thought that's why he was pissy at her
It
because
was-
she made the comment.
It was
No.
Jesse, the asshole who wouldn't cuddle with his girl. That's
Yeah.
His girl was the one that.
Yeah, I thought she was the one that made that comment. That's why I thought that was trying to redeem
Gotcha,
her
yeah.
a little bit. Like it just seemed like very flip floppy with the character development.
Yeah, I agree. It was really, it just wasn't even necessary. Like why, it didn't make that. It didn't give that any more impact. Like
Right.
that proposal was completely pointless. Completely pointless.
Sure.
And it just made for some kind of like cringeworthy scenes of like, ugh, like you had to take a leak after you proposed to your girlfriend. Like,
Yeah, no.
it just, if they cut that out, would have been fine. Or if they did something more with it, it was just enough to make it kind of ridiculous,
I think I'd like to think, and I, a better writer than me, maybe a better director than me, and
Yeah.
apparently this person maybe could make that work, but because it didn't work, it just was a waste of time. Like that's kind of the gambit that you, the risk, I should say, that you run when you, I always say gambit like the character. the
Mon
risk
ami.
that you run when you you try stuff like that. You know what I mean? You try to do some sort of shorthand. Is that if it doesn't work, if you don't garner the response that you want, you've just gobbled up runtime.
Yep. Yeah. So I just think that they could have done a better job with that. That one was probably one of the most glaring in the entire in the entire film. So that's, that one kind of stuck out to me. But there was just some really, I don't know, there's just some other really weird sort of like dialogue things. Let's see. Let me look at my notes here real quick. Actually, real quick to go back to the creature. So we have, the dude Matt leaves the tent. He finds this creature and he ends up, getting killed. It's not really spoiling anything. It happens in the beginning here. Basically gets disemboweled, right? He has his intestines torn out, and so it was pretty brutal. Like, I thought that was a cool scene, and I liked the way the creature looked. It looked interesting. And especially when you see it just kind of perched, it was just really kind of creepy, right? I thought that was they did a really good job with that.
The only thing I didn't like about that is when you first see the creature perched up on that log.
Yeah.
It started to move in a rather inhuman way. In a way
the
that
way it was edited, it was kind of jumpy
because you don't
the jump cuts,
and unfortunately, you don't see that throughout the remainder of the film.
They do it a little bit, they do it a little bit.
I didn't catch it.
Yeah, you do see it.
Yeah, they especially when they're in the basement. There was a couple times where they did these like real quick jump cuts to make it, or at least that's what I assume it was, to make it seem like it was moving quickly.
Right. And make it seem like it was moving unnaturally.
Yeah. So then we have obviously, and then the girlfriend who just got proposed to is obviously wondering where the fuck her now fiance is, and she goes out looking for him, which obviously,
doesn't bode well.
Not the brightest thing.
Pushes the story forward.
Yeah.
And so she gets attacked but not killed. So I didn't understand why did the friends find her? I can't remember. Why did it not kill her?
They found her with her eye taken out.
She was screaming. That's what it was.
They all ran out.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
But there was no explanation as to why they ran out for her and not for him.
Right.
She was not that further away.
Yeah.
These monsters did a lot of fucking dumb stuff that didn't make any sense. Like,
not necessarily the monsters, the people.
Well, the monsters did too. Like, I could think of one thing that
they were just
really pissed me off.
Well, but it's not like they were like smart though. They just were going on instinct alone, right?
At this point in the movie, the people are acting stupider than the monsters.
No, for sure. But then there's a part later on where two people are unconscious and these ravenous monsters, and one of them's just fucking standing over another one making noise.
Yeah.
That
was the one's first kill though, so I thought that maybe it just was kind of still becoming comfortable.
That's interesting.
Yeah, with what it was doing. That didn't really bug me, but yeah, I see what you're saying though.
I just think that there was something here and I understand like dumping all of your important exposition into the main character. I get that. But in both the dispersal of these monsters, is that a word? Did I make that up? Disposal?
Dispersal works.
Yeah,
I know what you mean.
And the stalking of the fodder-like characters, there was zero suspense. I'm not saying everything has to be like fucking Jaws or even like fucking 13th, but literally it was that sort of like Rob Zombie did it as an experiment, I think, in the first Halloween remake anyway.
Mm-hmm.
Like, if you saw fucking Michael Myers, you were dead. There wasn't a lot of fucking running around.
Right.
And that's why the end of it kind of drew a lot of criticism, because all of a sudden this one lady was able to fucking run Michael amok when he was just fucking tearing through people the rest of the movie. But like in this, like I understand like the monsters are better than the people, so they'll kill the people every time. But then you don't have a fucking movie, right? But then you turn around to the second half of it, and granted, they explain that she was the daughter of a hunter, but then Taylor Scout is just fucking
Taylor Compton
killing fucking ferals like she's just fucking the Doom champion.
Well,
because there's a huge difference between hunting down rabbits and hunting down these creatures.
Well, that was the thing, is there was a lot of some of the writing was just out of convenience. It's like, okay, we need her to be good with a gun, so her dad was a hunter. It's
which is fine. We could probably watch a million awesome movies where
Sure.
that wouldn't bother us at all.
Sure. But it's that whole thing where I think Al Gore was the first one who talked about this on the show. Was when you're not engaged, you're picking out the little things like that.
Yeah,
But you know what?
You got to flesh them out a little better than this.
Every movie we watch, though, there's always the one person who knows how to handle a gun, and it's over-explained as to why they know how to handle this gun.
Yep.
I like the fact that she just was able to pick up that gun and be able to handle it, and it was kind of, wasn't even mentioned until probably another 30 minutes into the movie. And then they were, she was like, "Oh, my father's a ranger. He taught me how to hunt." Blah blah blah. And it was just kind of, not necessarily glossed over, but just like.
Well, they disguised it in a really cool way.
Yes.
Not really. They disguised it in making it an issue of like her girlfriend's like, animal. Like pro-animal agenda. I don't want to say that like it's a negative thing, because I am certainly for the most part pro-animal. But like that was like how they kind of hid that thing. You know what I mean?
Well, I mean, it wasn't mentioned about the gun at all. Nothing was mentioned about that she could handle the gun. But then when they came upon the bear trap, and she knew exactly how to release someone from a bear trap.
Yeah.
Which I don't know how to release anyone from a bear trap. I would not know a single thing about that, but
I would have bet the farm that he did.
Well, you know what? That's not that common in today's day and age.
No.
Bear traps. But this woman knew how to do it, and you know what? If anyone told me they know how to do it, I'd be going, how do you know how to do that?
Right.
I would want an explanation.
Monster Zero, you are then stepping in a bear trap, you are more likely to either get hit by lightning or find some asshole peeing out a screen.
So, and then we don't need to go through all of the plot points here, but at this point when I don't have her name here, Brienne, I think, which she was the one who got her eye torn out. I think it was Brienne. Well, anyways, they take her to go. They're trying to find somewhere to bring her, and then they happen upon Lou Temple's character of Talbot. And so he takes them in, and starts. They're able to kind of care for her a little bit, and then we have two others. So it's Jesse and it's Jules, and they go out to go. To find like a ranger station or a car. I can't remember what they went to look for.
So for help. The help too.
Yeah, they just go for help. And it's a 20-mile walk.
And that pissed me off because they fucking go right from the jump and they don't get supplies, they don't get water.
Yeah.
They don't get flashlights.
Not very practical way of
You know what I mean? The dude Talbot could have said, "Hey, maybe you fucking go in the woods, asshole. You already fucked up.
Yeah.
Maybe you should
Well, at the very least, they should have brought water with them.
Right.
Yeah, but Talbot knew they weren't coming back. Like at that point, we didn't. I mean, anyone who had ever seen a horror movie in between now and 1935 knew that they weren't coming back because of what his name was. But, you didn't know if you were 11.
Oh, you didn't know?
Yeah. I have no talent.
I mean, their intention was to make it out of the woods before dark.
Sure. And
yeah, but how you get back?
Well, they were hopefully going to come with some kind of reinforcements.
And so when they're out on their walk, we had this once again making these characters completely unlikable because Jesse had something with Alice at one time. They slept together. I don't know. And now Jules, the new girlfriend, Alice's girlfriend, is now out with Jesse. So she's with the ex, basically. And there's some tension there. And they start talking about it. They actually stop because there's a rabbit that's hanging, hanging from a tree or something like that. So they stop. That catches their eye. And then they start arguing about... I wrote down the quotes because they were very cringeworthy. She's like, "She's gay, dude." And he's like, "She's just going through some crazy dyke phase."
Yeah.
And it just was like so, oh man, like it just was like awkward, just so like kind of embarrassingly bad. And so she gets mad, pushes him. Of course, he
steps in a
bear trap.
Which, giving credit where credit is due, that's the only way I would have fucking accepted that somebody stepped in that trap, because it was the fucking transparent equivalency of like Bugs Bunny painting an X in the middle of it.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. So, and then obviously they can't get him out of the bear trap, so she runs off to go back to get help. So, she basically goes back the way she came to get them to be like, hey, we need some help. And I just thought a lot of this was, I don't know, it just was very like...
It felt very convenient how
Yes.
she was able to find her way back without any problem at all.
Well, they were following a path.
Well,
They were told to leave
stay
the
on the
cabin
path.
and stay on the path.
I had no problem with that, but it just was... It seemed like things were convenient just for plot's sake, and I understand movies do that. You can't have a ton of, backstory to each decision, but it just seemed like everything was done out of convenience for this.
Every single thing in this was made. It's like they were like beholden to a running time.
Yeah,
It's like the climax, all like just fucking boom, 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 like zero, like there's a monster behind me, there's a monster in the road, I'm dead. Like it was just on. It was like they didn't know how to play the fucking video game except for that one character, and like everybody else got killed the minute they saw a monster.
Yeah, so there was, I don't know, there just was some weird decisions. Like it just seemed like you think that they could come up with a better way to solve the bear trap problem than just fucking leave him there and then run off. Like I don't know, there just was a lot of just really weird things. And so with Talbot, did you guys, I mean, obviously when you hear the name Talbot, what do you think of?
Yeah, werewolf.
Yeah, you think of fucking Wolfman.
Wolfman.
Yeah.
I think
Right.
Talbot from
Lyle Talbot.
Yeah.
from the video game.
Now, I don't know if
I
that
think Talbot from the clothing store.
Yes.
I don't know if that was their intent to make you think of that. I mean, because there wasn't a werewolf in this, but there was some feral creatures. So maybe there was some, some ties to that, or they wanted to make it be kind of reminiscent of that. But it just was kind of distracting for me. I kept hearing
now
Talbot.
that we say it out loud, there is some very obvious parables to another famous overused monster in this, but this could have been some sort of subversive take on lycanthropy.
Lycanthropy. Yeah.
Yeah, because like it was almost the reverse, right? But
Well, they did show the
definitely
moon.
And they
And
definitely
they
did
s-
take
and
on
they
like,
did say
wolf,
that-
like, they had wolf eyes.
Yep.
And
Yeah,
they
well,
did
they-
say that it only came out at
only
night.
come
During
out
the
at night,
daytime,
yeah.
it was dormant.
Yeah.
Wait, didn't he? Was it night? Didn't
Yeah.
the guy in the bear trap get killed during the day though?
Well, they could die during the day, but they only came out in their.
No, but didn't the werewolf? or
No, I think
No,
it was,
no.
I think it might have been dusk. if
No, that
anything.
was night.
Yeah, it was night. Yeah, that's right. So yeah, I think that there could certainly be, because it is sort of maybe like a cousin of a lycanthropy or something like that. It was like a cousin of the werewolf. So I wonder if there
'cause-
had to have been something to that, because it just was, when you hear the name Talbot, for me, I automatically think of that. So if it's distracting if they don't intend for that, and if they
Now, Monster Sorry, no, go.
and even if they do intend for it, it's still kind of weird.
Yeah, Monster Zero now, is this a werewolf movie? Because last time we had an IFC discrepancy, it was the stuff of legend. So give me some greatest hits.
Did they have the lycanthropy gene? Jesus
The
Christ.
lycanthropy gene?
Yeah.
Yes.
It's possible, yes.
No, see, I took this whole thing as a weird amalgam of werewolf and zombie.
It kind of
Yeah.
was,
Yeah.
Yeah,
That's
it's
just how I took like. Let's take some aspects of zombie and aspects of werewolf and throw them together, because we need to.
Do something.
The whole zombie thing is played out, but we need to revamp it somehow. So let's throw in some werewolf aspect.
And I think you're 100% right, Aries, about what's interesting about it is that they did every zombie movie cliche.
Oh, exactly.
Yeah.
Well, they had the let's chain up our friend. Let's keep.
Well, I mean,
You got to shoot him in the head.
I mean, beyond the whole, they only come out at night. They're zombies.
Right.
well, depending on what side of that fast-moving zombie thing you run on.
Well, you
I
know
mean,
what?
if these were werewolves, you gotta nail them down with a silver bullet. Which I'm.
I mean,
That's why it's an amalgam.
Yeah, no, I hear what you're saying.
But I mean,
it depends on what mythology.
the whole zombie. I mean, that is such a loose term.
Right.
Zombie. It is such a loose term that
all of the cursed undead are allergic to silver. It's not just exclusive to werewolves.
Dracula's.
Dracula's.
So I don't know if you guys could see in studio, anyways. I pulled up this picture. This is just like with the first thing when I type in lycanthropy, this thing comes up, and this sort of looks a little bit like the creature. Like it's evocative of it.
I mean, it
Where
has that stance with a more human head.
Yes, and it's got like this one has
Not as
just a
hairy.
little bit of fur. Whereas the that's kind of like what the creature in this had. So I think that's right. I think there's definitely too many similarities to a zombie and a werewolf kind of combined. It is sort of an amalgam, like Ari said.
I mean, but if you take it to like its base, like we're very conditioned to zombie movies now, but like even in like the original werewolf, he was supposedly mauled by that wolf.
Yeah, right.
And like woke up like okay, so like this is kind of I think this is like using some like trying to do the thing. If this was real and this was some sort of science, I guess this would be what would happen. That said, you didn't see patient 0, so
Yeah, and I think that a lot of they fractured the group a lot in this movie. So there's originally 6. And then there's just a lot of things where they just keep fracturing the group and having them go off, and it just felt too contrived to me. And I know stories need to do that sort of thing to build tension, but this just seemed like a cheap ploy in this one. I don't know. It just really bugged me, because it's like, okay, well now we're doing the thing where the two go to get help.
Yeah.
That's this one, and
yeah.
here's the one where they're trying to get away. It's like paint by numbers, like we said. It's just like hitting all the spots that you're supposed to hit,
You know what pissed me off the most? Like the thing that almost made me dislike this movie, and I thought it was fine at the end of the day. Like it's under 2 hours. It
was 90 minutes exactly on the nose.
It breezed. Like I didn't feel like it. I feel like at 95 minutes, some of its sins might have pissed me off, but it like breezed by fast enough that I didn't feel like fucking totally irritated, and that's saying something considering the mood I was in when I fucking sat down to watch this thing. And but the thing that fucking drove me the most, the thing out of all the things that didn't make sense, and out of all the things that like one kind of mythology that they tried to fucking hammer into another mythology didn't go together. So this thing is these things are driven by fucking food, right?
Yep.
Like, what has it been fucking eating all this time? Like, at some point, if there's a major, like, and I'm not Aries, but if there is a fucking major predator, I'm not talking about bears just fucking going about their business or going through. If there's like a ton of people or a major predator, like fucking the bigger animals are gonna go away, right? Am I wrong about that, Aries? Like at some point, like if there's a fucking lion, if you introduce a lion into the area, right? At some point, the dares are gonna go. There's a fucking lion. I'm not gonna live here anymore. I'm gonna migrate west.
I mean they're not gonna flee the area. I mean, I'm assuming
you run out of food then. If there's not new animals coming in, if they're not kind of going in some sort of a secular thing.
But
like,
when we're not talking about years and years, we're talking about months.
I thought he said that it was this summer.
Yeah,
well, that's the summer. That's months.
Well,
how long do you think it takes to decimate a wildlife population?
7 days.
He killed 5 fucking big people in 90 minutes. Like, I don't know. Like, like, and do they not?
Well, these are people. These aren't people aren't smart enough to flee when danger is near.
No, I agree. But
most wildlife flee.
So it only
Something
works
is going to kill them. They run away.
So there's not werewolf rabbits now, or werewolf deer. Like this only works
Well,
on people. This is another one of
I
those-
don't know. They didn't explore that aspect in this
Exactly,
movie.
that's what I'm saying. Like just the fact that any time had passed other than this fucking happened on Wednesday and it's Saturday now, like it leaves too much fucking holes.
Well, I'm not
belabors-
arguing that point.
Yeah, no, I and that's my problem. Like, you know, while I'm wrong about, you know, the animals not going away or not new animals coming back or whatever else, like, you know, like at some point it would run out of food, and at some point, why wouldn't it go to the house?
Well, yeah. Well,
And the house wasn't fortified at all.
if you recall, a character mentioned that if they don't take care of this, it's going to spread.
Right. So it didn't. There was nothing. Like I just don't know. And like every fucking like 3 of these busted through fucking windows. Like why didn't this one bust in a window to get Talbot ever? It's just too much. Like
Well,
just
you
have-
know what? I mean, my whole problem with that whole aspect of it is that one character said if they don't take care of this, it's going to spread. As soon as he had the opportunity to not necessarily eliminate, but greatly reduce the problem,
Right.
he didn't take that opportunity. He walked away.
There was a lot of things like that, like, for instance, Alice, who is, you know, the main character played by Scout Taylor Compton, at the beginning, she was talking about how, you know, what kind of doctor she wanted to be. She wanted to be like the detective doctor, where she finds these diseases and finds out what causes them and things like that. And
Batman
then,
doctor.
like, she had a problem, like, the guy was basically saying, like, Talbot was basically saying, they will turn, your friends will turn, they're no longer your friends. They're going to turn into these creatures, and there's nothing we can do. The best thing to do is to kill them now. And she's like, you know, she's like, had this weird compass of like saving lives because she's a doctor while ignoring the lives of those around her, you know?
Right, and ignoring the facts. Now, to be fair, I wouldn't shoot like
Sure.
you or Ares in the head.
Sure, not once you see it though.
You would never get that opportunity.
Once you see it though,
Shit.
that's the thing. You know, they originally like she had seen someone turn, so she knows what it does to them.
But-
so
But
wha-
she doesn't. She does. I mean, I guess there's. You're right, but I mean, the writer in me is trying to explain that away. But like, you know, I feel like it's you know, movies are like a fucking barrel, right? And like at the end of the day, somebody picks up your fucking barrel full of movie fluid and carries it to the other end and had a good time doing it. But as soon as there's one fucking hole, like, they better do something to make you hurry up so all the fucking fluid doesn't pour out. This movie did a very poor job of that because,
Yeah.
you know, it's the metaphor, you know, versus what El Goro said about being engaged. Because what happens is that as soon as, and it was late in the film, and as soon as I started thinking about why didn't he wander away, like what kept this, even if it was only a week, you know, what kept him here? You know what I mean? Like if he was
Yeah.
hunting food, he could in 3 days. I mean, they were going to go 20 miles in an afternoon. If this thing fucking moved really fast, like, why did it stay around?
Well, I'm not gonna. There's a bit of a spoiler that I won't say, but I think I understand why, you know, and it kind of makes sense. But then again,
Till it didn't, though, because I'm with
Right,
you, man.
right,
Like,
right.
what-
You
and
don't know the
something
time frame. That's the problem.
yeah,
The
Yeah.
time frame could have been a day.
he knew a lot of fucking shit over the course of a day. And
But he
you don't-
learned
you don't
that
put- you
before
don't
that
put your
day.
whole family down in a day.
Well, no, you're talking about what
Like
what
Jim Dandy.
No, you're talking about what transpired in the past.
Right.
From what he was talking about in the past to the present, could have been a day.
I don't think so.
What do you mean you don't think so? You don't know.
You're right. I don't know, but I would like to think that at the end of the day, if I had to kill all you guys on Wednesday, I'd still be pretty upset about it on Thursday. This guy was like going about his business already, so some time passed, I think, and he did say.
Well,
that it
no,
was
no, no,
this
no.
summer.
Some time passed between what had all the horror that transpired for him,
Right.
but he also managed to contain that horror, right?
Oh yeah. So
Yes.
How long to cut
So
out? Yeah.
from when that horror escaped to the movie,
Yeah. No, that's fair. That's fair. No, I'm with you.
I mean, and
Yeah, no,
also we're talking about when 6 random people come walking through the woods. Also,
Right. And he was setting if it had
he
been
was
gone,
setting
he
traps.
was setting traps. Right. Yeah. No, you're right. You're right. You're 100% right.
No, I'm not defending this movie. I'm defending actions in this movie.
No, you're right. I mean, I didn't dislike this movie, and for me, I think that there is a certain magnetism to the lead, and I think that they really put all their all their eggs in her basket, and then a little more eggs in her girlfriend's basket. But
That sounds very
don't-
sexual.
I
I
don't
wanna
at
see
least
that
biology.
movie.
I just don't think that there was enough in anybody else's to care. And the only other character that there was any stakes in for me was, okay, you have the hunter girl who kind of kicks ass. You have her kind of hardened girlfriend who's a little bit tougher but not very savvy of the woods. You have these 2 men who are kind of outdoorsy types, right? Fucking kill. The Pris kind of cheerleader girl in the fur coat gets her fucking world rocked 2 or 3 times and doesn't fucking turn or is still up walking
Yeah,
around.
yeah.
I mean, granted, the whole turn time frame,
Yeah, that was
completely up in the air.
But
negotiable.
that's kind of every. Again, that's almost that's
zombie.
one of the bad
Every
written-
zombie movie, yes.
Yeah, it's one of the things that are so written so many times poorly in so many zombie movies that it's become a trope.
Yeah, when is it convenient for this character to turn?
Right.
Except in this one, they didn't. I can't even the worst ones. They can even by accident wait too long or do it too soon, and you can maybe get a jump sometime. There was nothing scary about any of these turns, or how they happened or anything else.
Yeah, you know what? They missed some decent opportunities for not jump scares, but some chilling scares. I hate it. I've mentioned it before. The music, the score, telling you when to be scared, and this movie did it, and it ruined it. There was out of focus, the monster behind the character, and they did the whole music cue.
Yes, I know exactly what you're
Yeah,
talking
and
about.
they actually cut to another scene,
Right.
another angle, and then cut back. And it's
Johnny, I actually isolated part of the score. If you give me a second right now. Aries, this is the time to be scared.
yeah. Oh, it was because it was so you could not even tell if you had just left the score the same, and that monster coming out of the coming into focus would have been so brilliant. But
I
no,
will
the
say-
score ruined it.
This is I've been watching I've doubled up my wrestling watching, right? Because we do this wrestling show, and I have to keep up with some people who are very voracious professional wrestler watchers. And because of that, I'm even more in tune with kind of my own ebb and flow of enjoying wrestling than I've ever been. And I find that it's bleeding over into other media for me. And this is definitely one thing that I notice in wrestling is sometimes if a match is pretty okay, if I just saw it of its own regards, I kind of will judge it against the really great match that happened right before it. And I think one thing that this movie had working against it for all of us, and maybe you guys are more open and able to have a clean slate than maybe I am, is that this film came 7 days after I watched an almost perfect movie.
That's kind of what is going to be one of my points, is that it is a little unfair that we reviewed this right after Revenge, I think. So, I especially because they're 2 very different movies, whereas Revenge is pretty dense on a couple levels, and this is just very surface level.
Yeah, see, I don't think it's unfair to review these back to back because they are completely different movies.
Sure.
Should be completely different.
But
movies.
but with that, I was looking for more out of this movie because of that.
Yeah.
I think, you know.
No, I mean, and again, like, it'll happen with me, like, and I hope I judge them fairly. But if we watched, say, Headshot, and then followed it up with, say, Pie Talk, it's just
Pie
like,
Whack it.
you know, Pie Whack. Yeah, thank you. Like,
Pie
it'd be like,
Welcome to Pie Talk. Today we'll be talking about Boston cream pie, banana cream pie, and chocolate cream pie.
it's
Color.
Blueberry or snozberry. Which is better? You'll be surprised when you find out.
it's like speech impediment theater. My name's Auburn Ood, and this is I Talk. And it'll on. I just don't, like, I don't know, like, I kept thinking, you know, as I was watching it, I kept thinking, like, man, like, I wish we lived in a time where our options were so dense that we, like I was getting my mind blown doing the show every single week, you know, instead of, you know, this is sort of damning something with praise instead of going like, oh, well, this wasn't bad. You know, I didn't feel like I wasted my morning, you know, as opposed to like fucking pacing around until I can sit down with you guys and talk about it, you know?
All right, I want to start to wrap this up a little bit here in just a few moments, but we've already I feel like we've been piling on, and I don't know if I want to say too much more negative, I guess, but
I'll say something positive about it, though.
Well, let me just get to this
Okay,
then. I really dislike the relationship between Alice and Jules. I just feel like there's an opportunity here to show like a really cool, strong, like lesbian couple, and I just feel that they just were like as dysfunctional as any other. And maybe that's kind of the point, is that they were, hey, well, lesbians can be just as dysfunctional as heterosexual relationships, but I just feel like there's an opportunity here. And
I don't think they're going to be putting that on a shirt.
No. I got the feeling that they were the exact couple that guy thought they were.
Could be.
Like, that's
because,
what I thought they were trying to play up to. I don't know.
Because the thing is, it seems like they had been dating a while. They had said they loved each other, but they hardly knew anything about each other. And maybe that's the point. I don't know. But it's just like, you know, because she was like, your dad was a hunter? You know, like,
right.
You know, like there's some things like that where it was just like, why didn't you know some of this stuff? Granted, dad being a hunter, maybe that's not something you would have talked about, but there was a couple other instances of that in the film where it was like they didn't know certain things about each other that seemed like they should be something you tell your significant other, you know?
Right. I
So
mean, Valentine's Day was over, I think. It was kind of...
Yeah, and maybe so. But that's, you know, I don't know. I think maybe the fact that the lesbian couple was just written like any other normal couple is kind of the point. And not like harping on it, saying, "Hey, look, we have a lesbian couple," you know, and like really harping on it. You know, maybe that was kind of the point. But I just feel like it did a disservice to the characters, I think, and made them each feel, I don't know, that they weren't likable. You know, I guess at the end of the day, I keep using that word. But MZ, you're gonna say something you liked?
Yeah. Well, you were talking about the score, and granted, the placement of the score was pretty bad. But the score itself, just based on its own merits, was actually pretty good. I was watching the film I was listening to it through my headset, and I thought the score sounded pretty damn nice. I thought there were certain peaks in it that were pretty nice, and it was overall it was just a really good score.
I like the score.
I thought it had a certain amount of tension in it that kind of worked to a certain degree. Another thing I liked was, and this is weird. It's not so much the editing, because the editing really kind of threw me off, because like there was this, you know, you get these scenes where something is going on, then they switch over to something else that you would never even fathom that they would even try to, if they're going to try and build up some suspense, but they do it anyway. That wasn't so good, but there was some real stylistic choices here that I really kind of enjoyed. for instance, the no dialogue shots of just the woods themselves. Now, something like that you don't really see in films like that, in films of this ilk nowadays. Usually they just want to stick right to the action, right to the dialogue, and just stay with people. But here you get a sense of serenity they're usually above the trees of these kind of shots, and while there's hell going on down below, there's serenity up in the sky. And I thought the way they did that was
This
kind
is
of
a
nice.
weird sermon.
Praise the Lord!
That is hell
no.
the serenity up in the sky, and that's a very
Serenity!
good show. Serenity's a good show.
I
Jesus.
I will
Buy
agree
your
with you
tickets.
that the score in this, I really enjoyed it. It was just that one faux pas.
The placement of it.
It was just
It's too handholdy. It's like,
Yeah.
get scared now.
Yeah,
Ding,
you
ding,
know
ding,
what?
ding.
Because
Yeah.
the rest of the movie, they did not do that. It was just that one scene, and they could have built up so much with that one scene, and they ruined it with the score. And
Aries, I think you mean Foxbus.
Foxbus?
Yeah, no, Foxbus.
You did what for your pa?
Is that the bus that runs Boston to New York?
Yes.
No. I mean, the rest of it I thought was really good. Just that one. Now, see, now, I don't want to say that word because he's going to make fun of me again. Am I mispronouncing that? Is that the problem?
It's the
Faux
problem
pas?
is you're actually pronouncing it properly. You're making us look bad.
Once again, like I just have a lot of like little things.
I mean, there were a lot of little things with this movie, and there was. See, he distracted me, and there was something else I wanted to
So sorry. You're gonna kick my ass
to
this week.
rebut with what you were saying, Monster Zero, and it's probably going to come to me 5 minutes after we're done with this. But you know what? I agree with most of what you said. Two things I disagree with. One I stated. The other one I can't remember. So we'll go on record with that. All right.
The other thing that really bugged me was there is a scene when Alice shoots one of the creatures or shoots at one of the creatures, and they're all kind of like hunkering down in the house. And what does she do? She opens the door to look at it, and sure enough, fucking all three of them run in. You know, like I just was like, come on, you can't be that fucking dumb.
Oh, you know what? There was actually one scene where it was just after the scene I'm talking about with the problem with the score, the monster coming up behind her.
Yeah.
And she turns to shoot at the monster.
Right.
And I don't know if it's editing problems or special effects, but you could obviously tell that the barrel of the gun is past the monster.
Yes.
Yes.
And
Thank
she
you
fires,
for
the
pointing
monster
that
goes
out.
flying, and I'm like, okay, I'm out. That's
Thank
it.
you for pointing that out.
And if it's the one I'm thinking of, the gunshot on that was really soft. It really I thought that the sound design on this was kind of all over the place.
Oh, it was all.
Yeah.
They went from going between a rifle and a shotgun.
Yeah, they didn't know what to do.
That drove me nuts.
Yeah.
I you know what? I was hesitant to bring that even up, but they went between a rifle and a shotgun, and it drove me
was
nuts.
really inconsistent. And I think the last thing I'll bring up is there was a scene in the basement where Alice is fighting a creature with a bat. It just looked ridiculous. If you can't make it look good, don't do it. You know, like it just, I don't know. It just seemed really silly to me when she was fighting the creature with the bat.
This would definitely be a different movie if it was put in more competent hands.
And there was also this is the last thing. There's also toward the end when Alice gets out of the house, there's what looks like a cool drone shot. It goes up, and it starts to show.
Yeah.
I don't know if that's what you were just talking about, but it goes up and it starts to show the top of the house and the trees. And I'm like, oh, cool. It's going to be like a fucking cool reveal where there's a bunch of them or something. No.
Yeah.
Just a drone shot.
Yeah. You know, I got that exact same feeling. There was some reveal.
It took Alice out of the frame and showed you the top of the house for no fucking reason.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Why would you do that?
There could have been something really cool
If you
there.
don't
and
have-
it's just another missed opportunity that the filmmakers took upon
Yeah,
us.
and if you don't have like a reveal, don't do it because it's
Right.
very distracting.
Yeah, I really thought there was some big reveal happening
Yeah.
right then and there.
Especially after 90 minutes of this trek.
Yeah,
Jesus,
I was
you
like,
would hope
oh, this is the punchline. This is
something,
great.
something would save
Nothing.
this
But at
movie.
the same time, if it did do that, that's the same thing they always fucking do.
But no,
So, like,
not all. Some.
I would say most.
No, not most. Some. I mean, great. It would have been another Hollywood, tripe, but it would have been something a little different.
I'm glad they didn't do it, but I wish they hadn't set it up and not did it.
You know what? I wish they would have done it because it would have been something a little different than the cookie cutter that we got.
Yeah,
Wait a minute.
Granted, I'm sure budget constraints were a thing, but it would have been cool if there was even just a creature on the roof or several of them. Like I just thought that would have been
Something.
cool. Yeah,
Even if it didn't make sense,
yeah. At this point, it
Well,
doesn't
you know
really
what?
matter.
With what with this movie was built on just plain old convenience.
Yeah.
That would have topped.
I mean,
that would have been the cherry on the sundae. right
With all the establishing shots that showed that axe in the log out front, I thought something with that axe was going to happen.
Nothing. Yeah, you're
Nothing.
right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If we had given this movie this much praise, and now that we've been complaining about it this much, like I feel like we've given it more time.
What praise?
Well, that's what I'm saying.
He said
we had given
if we had, yeah.
Oh, if
Yeah.
we had. Oh, okay.
given it more than it deserves. That said, too, like sometimes you just fucked up and lost. Like the other day, Cult of Muscle watched a movie about Keith David eating out Pamela Anderson's ass, and we watched Farrell.
What
So sometimes-
what
Well,
was the title of that one?
I'll look it up.
Okay.
But I mean,
Trick or treat, baby. I wonder if people would say you're a trick or a treat.
Trick or treat, motherfucker.
All right, verdict time. We need to move this shit along. This is the time when we tell you whether this flick was a trick or a treat, and any final thoughts we may have. Let's start with MZ.
Oh, hey. Yes, let's get this over and done with. Yeah, this had so many possibilities that just went awry on every possible angle. The characters were completely unlikable. They had no idea what to do with any of these characters except to just kill them off, and then in between that, just have malarkey going on. Malarkey going on in every possible way.
on.
Just everything was going wrong in this movie, and
Hey, Malaki.
Locks on, but you're not home.
but hopefully this guy, what's his name, Mark Young.
Mark Young, yeah.
Yeah, let's hope he does better next time, because this wasn't
Jesus.
very good. Yeah, this is definitely a trick. And let me just say, how does this sound? For the character who played Jules, Olivia Lucardi,
Yeah.
how does this sound? Mrs. Olivia Zero. How does that sound?
You wish. You wish.
She was cute as a
How
ball.
many filmmakers do you
Absolutely
think
adorable. And when she gets
She
a little
was
older,
adorable.
she's gonna be a knockout.
She was-
Oh, jeez.
she's an actress I like a lot. Actually, she was in It Follows.
Yeah.
Yes,
she
she was.
You know, so
Was she the one with the clam
she
like
was the fucking the clam e-reader.
clam e-reader? Yeah.
Yeah.
Clamato.
Clamato. You say Clamato, I say Clamato.
You say tomato, I say tomato. You say tomato, I say
Let's eat Pam
tomato.
Anderson's ass.
So yeah, this is a trick, no sweat, no doubt about it.
All right, Aries.
Yeah, I mean this movie, it's just a treasure trove of missed opportunities, throughout the whole movie. Just every little aspect of it, you could just you might as well show this in a film school and say this is exactly what you do not do to make a decent horror movie. I mean, it is exactly what to make a horror movie, but it's if you want to make anything interesting or compelling at all. You just stay away from everything they did. So this is just a trick all the way around.
All right. I'm just going to interrupt Raven Shadow real quick. Mars, did you see Tooth and Nail? That was one of the 8 films to die for from 2007.
No.
Okay. Well, this guy did it.
Did you did you fart?
No, I sucked my teeth.
Chicken.
Yeah. Chicken.
That's what Keith David heard.
Oh God! You know what? I'm sorry. I forgot who I was talking to. Did you shit yourself?
All right,
No,
Raven.
but I don't have pants on.
Nice.
Raven Shadow.
All right. Was that David Keith or Keith David in that movie, Dynamo?
It
Oh, I
makes a
don't
big
know. I
difference.
remember.
Makes a big difference.
It wasn't Keith David. Well, yeah, it was Keith David, I think. Hold on.
Yeah.
I'll look.
It's probably David Keith.
Have they ever been in a movie together?
Keith David and Pamela Anderson would be a thing.
That'd be awesome.
The person that did Deadly Prey, so who knows?
Ooh, it's a deadly game.
All right, go ahead, Raven Shadow.
Yeah, I think we've already talked enough about this. You know what I mean?
Well, I'm just asking for your verdict. I'm
All
not
right,
asking for a fucking
Yeah, then just give your
diatribe.
verdict.
All right, they made a movie.
Yeah, they did.
It's nice.
They tried their best.
Yeah, they had a good attaboy. Trick, man.
All right.
Bring a flashlight.
All right, Mars Man.
This was pretty pedestrian stuff, but I do say I do think that though the script was not very much for them to work with, I think the leads elevated this to the point of that.
Did we watch the same movie?
I enjoyed it. No, I think that I can tell when actors are good and a script is bad.
I don't know, man.
There was
I don't
no
know.
good acting in this movie.
Yeah, I don't know, man. You just have a crush on Scout Taylor Compton.
How many bad
I
movies
thought
have
she
you
was
seen?
pretty bad.
He wants to get
How
straight
many
into
bad
Compton.
movies have you seen Lou Temple in?
I've never seen him in a movie.
Yeah, we've watched tons.
I've only seen him in Walking Dead.
He's been in like every.
He was in Devil's
Rob
Rejects.
Zombie movie.
Oh, not for the show.
Oh well, I'm just saying. Well, those are the movies we watch now. Forget it. It's a treat.
Treat?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah, tepid treat.
All right.
I wonder if it was.
Oh
Keith
my
David.
God! You're lucky not in the studio.
All right. So
No, kiss me.
for me, this is a trick, man. I liked some of what this film had to offer, but it was way too run-of-the-mill and cliche to make the good really stand out from the pack. My biggest issues were with the characters and the writing. And like I said, just to double down on what I said to Dynamo, and the actors didn't do anything to improve that. So obviously, they did have something really poor to start with, but I don't think that they were able to really make it any better. And as we discussed earlier, it feels really unfair to discuss this film after having just seen Revenge the week prior, because that film showed how badass and driven.
It is Keith David. Sorry.
Okay. It's better. This film Revenge showed how badass and driven a woman could be, but I felt that Scout Taylor Compton's Alice tried to be strong just by bossing people around. It was kind of this false bravery. Perhaps that was intentional, I don't know, because she had her own insecurities she was dealing with, but it just seemed like a big missed opportunity to give her character a stronger arc. And her journey, without giving too much away, didn't change her. It just gave her less friends. And the film is made well enough, but it's just really a mindless horror flick at the end of the day that could have been more potentially with better writing. So I think there was some some of the structure was there to make a good movie, but it just really kind of fell flat. And man, it just really bugs me when you have an opportunity to especially with Alice, I thought that she could have been a cool character, and if they did a couple things with her, but that's all I can say is that her journey didn't change her. She just had less friends. That's the best I can word it.
Well, I mean, in this movie's defense, she didn't need to necessarily change. She wasn't a bad person to begin with.
No, and I'm not saying that she was, but she displayed some insecurities throughout the movie, and maybe there could have been something done.
I mean, she could have better, but as anyone could, better themselves through any situation.
And maybe I'm looking, I might be looking too much into it.
Well, as you stated, unfair comparison to the previous movie.
Yeah.
You're looking at a character that needed tons of redemption to a character that needed little to no redemption.
And I think the thing about it was, if you're gonna make a straightforward film without, subtext or just having a deeper meaning to it, I'm totally on board with that. That's what MZ wants to do. I'm totally on board with that.
That's what I want to watch every week.
But when you leave too much on the table, where you kind of like almost go there but don't, that's when it really bugs me.
Yeah, well, there should have been character development for the other characters.
Yes, and especially the thing that really bugged me, as I mentioned, the thing with the marriage proposal.
Yes.
That whole thing. There was just so, why even bother? Just have these really kind of vanilla characters that you don't give a fuck about getting knocked off. Right. And maybe where you root for the creature a little bit more or something, but I just feel like this played it too safe one way or the other and didn't want to commit, and I think that hurt it for me. So yeah, trick for me.
Did I say the right David or the wrong David?
I don't know.
It doesn't matter. We're moving on.
Yeah, you said Keith David, and we questioned you if it was Keith David or David Keith.
It was the Caucasian one.
Oh God.
Oh well, that's the bad one. That's David Keith.
Moving on.
We like Keith David.
Yeah.
I do like David Keith too, but yeah, Keith David.
Hello, Maid Marian.
All right. Moving on.
Maid Marian.
All right. So next week we are going to review a film that definitely will be on Shudder.
We're holding you to that now.
Tomorrow. So on.
Well, Shudder sent it to us, so
on the 24th of May, this will be on Shudder. So, in the name of the film is Sequence Break, and this is a film that's written and directed by Graham Skipper, who we have seen acting in many films, but I believe this is his directorial debut.
All right.
So, let's see.
What did he do?
He did one other movie called Space Clown, actually.
And we just reviewed the film that he was in with the
Downrange. He was in that as
yep.
one of the cops.
Yep.
But he was in Almost Human. He was in Mind's Eye.
Oh yeah. Okay.
And a couple other things.
Yeah. All right. Good.
But so he directed this movie, and it is a Shudder exclusive. I'm looking at the poster right here. You guys can say, right? Shudder, May 24th, right? Verifying.
I don't see that.
Shut up.
I'm wearing my bag glasses.
Let's say August 13th.
So listen to this. Listen to the synopsis. A surreal sci-fi romance wherein a beautiful young woman and strange metaphysical forces threaten the reality of a reclusive video arcade technician, resulting in bizarre biomechanical mutations and a shocking self-realization.
Oh my God, he turns into Q*bert?
You know what? I'm going to say right now, I got high hopes for this.
Do you?
I do. From that description, I got high hopes.
It sounds Cronenbergian.
Yeah.
He's got Big Apple Pie in the sky hopes.
Pie Talk. We're going to start a new podcast.
No. I think I'm going to like this one.
All right.
We shall see.
Well, hey, I had high hopes for the film that we just watched after seeing students fighting to survive a weekend in the woods. I mean,
So did
that
I,
had
yeah.
me sold right there.
Really?
So.
That one had that description had you sold? I work in the woods. I know nothing good happens in the woods.
Ticks.
So we're going to check out Sequence Break next week. And once again, it will be on Shudder on May 24th. So if you're listening to this, it will be on Shudder. So give it a look. And if you guys want to send in your review, go ahead and do so. And I guess what we'll do for next week's topic, how about this? We'll do...
So tomorrow, they'll be on Shudder.
Yes, for tomorrow. So let's see. How about... I don't know how to word this. I want to word it so it's kind of clear. I don't know if this would be like techno horror. What? So this involves what sounds like an arcade machine.
Right.
So and then there's, what would you guys classify that as?
Transformer.
Transformer. Shut up.
Optimus Agent.
I don't know how to word it, but we'll do. How about How about bizarre sci-fi horror, kind of Cronenberg style,
Like robo hybrids.
Videodrome, like something that has technology, that horror and technology,
Like Hardware.
shocker, hardware. Yeah.
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 Or that Edward Furlong film.
Brain Scan.
Brain scan. Yeah. How would you guys? Is there a sub-genre for that you know of, Mars?
Technology amok.
Yeah. Okay. Technology and mock horror.
Techno horror.
Techno horror. Yeah. We'll go with that. So, some of your favorite techno horror films. Let's do that next week for the topic, and there should be a pretty good amount to choose from.
Chopping Mall. I'm gonna stay. Chopping
Mall, yes. And then we will be watching Sequence Break. You should check it out on Shudder. If you don't have Shudder, it's $5 a month. What are you waiting for? All right, so you know what we're going to do? I'm actually going to skip the break, and I'm going to go right into a feedback, because we got some feedback from our boy Cease. And it's a little on the long side, but I'm really curious to see what he has to say. He has some thoughts about revenge. So let's cut to Cecil, and we're going to let the feedback play out, and then we'll come back and talk about it. So we'll be back in a few minutes.
Hello, Trick or Treat Radio. It's Cecil. I was just calling in to give you I had a word for it, follow-up feedback. I actually want to suggest this as like a normal recurring thing, because a movie comes and a movie goes. You guys review it, you sit down and you go over it, and then a week passes and the movie's gone. But I just want to say to anybody listening, to encourage your listeners to send in feedback on the movie from the week before. The follow-up feedback. I think that would be cool. I mean, because sometimes you do have to sit with a movie. That's what I just read an article about David Lynch saying the same thing, where everybody's sitting down and reviewing a movie instantly, sometimes in their phone, in the theater, during the credits. They're right to get their point out to the social media. And, I do want to thank you guys at Trick or Treat Radio and give you props for doing that. Like, having that ability to come in, make up your mind, talk your shit, and not have to give an F, because who knows what could happen. This is a day and age when everybody's like, oh my God, who said? Anyway, you're saying it, how you feel, right after you watched it. That's pretty commendable, pretty amazing. Later on, I'm going to make this as short as I can, but in a minute, I want to get into this woman's review of Revenge. But I basically want to give you follow-up feedback on my take on Revenge from last week. And it was a movie that I really wanted to like. All the write-ups for it were cool. Like, just the neonness of it I like. The pinks and the colors and the desert. I thought, that could definitely hold potential for something that I'm really interested in. I want to say, I know people who've been in situations and they've been survivors of sexual abuse. And when I've talked to them generally about films that portray rape, there's no getting to any revenge aspect. As soon as I say that there's rape in the film, they're generally out of it. And I know that's not speaking for anybody, but I know a lot of people who don't want to watch movies with rape in them. Period. Okay, so I don't know if they would go for, and wouldn't want to ask them, would they go for that carrot on the end of the stick of watching a rape revenge film? But you get that revenge. It's like, okay, but a lot of them are out. I'm just telling you from my experience, they're out from the jump with other movies that contain rape. And I understand there's supposed to be a cathartic release for watching a film like this, going through the turmoil and all that. Of course, I'm a horror fan, so I've watched plenty of movies with that same, go through hell to get to heaven kind of deal. Okay, but the film itself, she's given a transformation scene that has a bit of humor to it. And I don't want to spoil too much, but it's the one point in the movie when a little bit of the supernatural kind of creeps in. Now, I bring that up for a point to say later on, I think it would have been interesting to see maybe more supernatural things play into maybe how she gets the revenge. Not just how is she miraculously still here, but how is she doing the deeds. And that she ends up doing all the deeds, getting her revenge via a rifle that, you can debate, is that a proper training montage or not? But as soon as you get this whole sequence and this whole stalking, killing via, sniping, it really lost me. And especially after more and more the events of the day and the guns going on in this country. Yeah, look, why I wanted to send in this voicemail is because it's getting harder and harder to disentangle politics from film. And this movie, of course, on its face, and if you look at the trailer that they made, where all the, fucking loser idiot men, defenders or whatever the fuck they're called, men's rights activists, slobs, are like, hey guys, this movie's bad, whatever. Okay, but you're putting us in a binary, us audience members. So I can't critique a film if it has good intentions. And this happened with, I feel, the Netflix Korean superhero movie. It's like, there's no way you could criticize that film. It's what we need, clearly. And I understand that perspective, but I just try to break things down from a film point of view, because that's what I was trained in film school to think about. I'm not thinking about, but now I am. I am thinking about the politics, and I want to address those politics. So last week, the male gaze, the term from feminist theory, the male gaze, got brought up, and I don't want that to be simplified to just who's directing the movie. Is it Bob or is it Patty? If it's Bob, it's the male gaze. I'm going to Wikipedia, and these are the male gaze has 3 perspectives, it says. 1, that of the person behind the camera. 2, that of the characters within the representation. And 3, that of the spectator. So while the film Revenge was directed by a woman, it was also cameraed by a male. And this has some interplay. And I'm not saying it's all bad or it's all good, but I'm saying that's not what defines the fact that it's done by a woman, and it's actually utilizing the male gaze to sexualize her, but also to try to take back her sexuality and say that it's okay for her to be sexy and a woman in a scary situation. That's fine. But anyway, it gets a little bit more complex, especially when you add in the third aspect of that of the spectator. Now, people are going to view it one way or another. You can say that the male gaze is there intentionally, but I mean, as a term of subverting it, but every spectator can walk away, thinking perhaps it was misjudged. And that's interesting. Not everybody's going to, just because you say it's one way, doesn't necessarily, and of course they market it a certain way. I just wanted to break down those terms real quick. Sorry, that was a little long-winded. And now I want to read from just some of this piece from Slate.com. And Jesse had a great idea last week where he found a review actually written by a woman and got her perspective. And it was a positive review, and that's cool. Well, this is a negative review from a woman. Okay, so it's still a woman, but there is a negative take on it that does exist. And not necessarily negative, it's just saying it doesn't quite hit the aspirational markers that it's trying to hit. Like, for example, the main character's promiscuity in the beginning, and even the way she's dressed. You look at it, and you look at the way even MZ's comments were pretty hilarious, because he was exploring that issue of, the way that she was dressed. But everybody's going to look at that differently, and that's what's interesting anyway. But that's definitely the male gaze right there, right? From a woman's directing leadership, which is interesting. Now, this is a review from Lena Wilson at Slate.com, and she says that Revenge is closer to subverting rape revenge exploitation than many of its predecessors, perhaps because it was written and directed by a woman. Still, the film sets itself up for feminist failure by buying into the violent rape revenge premise at all. While eye for an eye violence can be cathartic in its own way, it's emotionally hollow. Jennifer and her ilk never grapple with their decisions to end human life, nor do they ever process their traumas. Instead, they become as cold and unfeeling as their attackers. If the goal of rape revenge films is to flip the script on rapists, films like Revenge get halfway there, close enough to compel movie theater audiences for 2 hours while still keeping feminism at arm's length. Though the film revels in its misandry, none of its energy is actually focused on female empowerment. And it goes on, feminism has nothing to do with revenge against men because it has nothing to do with men at all. When feminism takes energy from men and instead becomes about women coming together and lifting each other up, it reaches its full activist potential. We can see that reflected in the Me Too and Time's Up movement today. Critics are calling Revenge the consummate Me Too film. I must have missed the part of Me Too where abuse survivors donned glorified bikinis and went after Harvey Weinstein with machetes, which is a funny ending to her review. If I can quickly go back up a couple paragraphs and wedge this in. Media teaches us that men solve their problems with violence, whether navigated grief with John Wick, Memento, blah, blah, or recovering their damseled wives. Men fight their way out of everything. Game developers and filmmakers alike seem to think that in order to achieve gender parity and on-screen representation, women should get the same treatment. It becomes feminist for women to solve their problems by beating the shit out of them. If rape is the pinnacle of male disregard for female life, what do we accomplish by presenting a protagonist who gleans and internalizes that violent indifference? Our protagonist is transformed, but she converts from one male fantasy to another. Wide-eyed damsel to hardened action hero. And that's the end of my quoting from Lena Wilson's review, but it's via rifle. Okay, and that's what really is still bothering me. You have a rape revenge film with a female protagonist that glorifies guns. I agree. I don't even know if I agree with half of that, but I'm supposed to agree with half of that, but the whole package is a little, to me, just not something I would recommend. Quite honestly, it didn't hit my recommend level. So anyway, that's me. I'm out. I'm cutting it short as I can. Bye, guys.
All right, Cecil. First off, let me just say, love you digging deep on that one, and even explaining, to the point of reading some descriptions and explanations, because I think that definitely kind of added to your thesis, if you will, providing.
Cecil really is a fucking pro.
Yeah, he's great. I love it, Cecil. I love hearing your thoughts about films, and
he makes us look like monkeys.
He does a little bit, yeah.
Well, I love that. I mean, he was quoting someone else, but the going from the one extreme to the other extreme of the male, fantasy of the woman. To the damsel to the ultra heroine.
I don't think that this. I wouldn't call this the a feminist film or a. I thought it was a cathartic fantasy in the same way that even like the Karate Kid. You know what I mean? Like someone smaller, someone who they frame as less, less powerful. Say, becomes powerful and gets their comeuppance. I don't know that it has. I mean, this
comeuppance.
Comeuppance. I don't think that other than that this was made by a woman. Like, I think that this superhero origin, which is what this woman made, I don't know that she. I don't know what. I mean, if you read I read a great interview with her in Rue Morgue. She was pretty they were pushing politics on her pretty hard, and she kind of. How can I word this diplomatically? Like when they asked the question, could this movie be made by a man? You know what I mean? She was like, that's a tough question because, of course it could. The perspective is different, but so I think that she said right out she was making a superhero origin film, and a lot of these other people have globbed this stuff on it, and I think the film is starting to get negative buzz for it, and it wasn't the film's intent.
Well, I want to comment on something before I forget, and it's sort of on what you're talking about, but a little bit of what Cecil ended with, and it is a good point that he read from the review that she's basically getting back at someone who raped her with gun violence, and in this social political day and age, it's kind of not the way you want to get back at someone, but it is using cinematic shorthand and cinematic language. And if you want to make a genre film, you can't have her get up there and go to court and take this person to court. That's just not what the genre would do. So you have to play with those genre tropes, and you have to play within that sort of language. And that was, as we said, how she gets her comeuppance. And and I just think that I agree with the point, but when you're playing with those crayons, that's what you have to play with,
Right.
and if you're gonna make a compelling genre film, you kind of have to, because if she got off the island and went to court and took these guys to court, it's
a
not.
different-
Yeah, it's a different movie. It's not a genre film anymore, and maybe it's more gratifying to bring them to justice the way that it should be done in the real world. But this movie has nothing to do with. Well, I shouldn't say it has nothing to do with the real world. It has a lot to do with the real world, but the outcome is sort of a gratifying genre finale.
Yeah. Wolfie, can I say something that's going to be really unpopular and we can move past it? Like, it's
you
probably
always
gonna
do that,
cut
so
us
sure.
maybe. Yeah.
Yeah,
This is
chances
fine.
are we won't move past it, but go ahead.
Yeah. But I think that a weird thing has happened in 2000. I talked to Oily about this a little bit sometimes, or at least in some form. A weird thing has happened in 2018, 17. I feel like in our urge to be enlightened, and I feel like it's a good thing. I feel like a lot of us are moving in the direction. We're going too far sometime, and we're taking on the traits that we repelled against in the first time. Like us saying that movies that have gunplay and gun violence are necessarily bad because they have gunplay and gun violence in a world that has too much gunplay and has terrible, in a country that has terrible gun laws. I don't think that's that different than, blaming watching slasher movies for people's bad behavior in the 80s. Like, and we repelled against that. We thought that was fucking ludicrous. The people that are shooting up schools, who are terrible, misguided young people, probably aren't going to be in a position where they could see movies like this anyway. Or maybe they are, but I don't know that that's I think that's a symptom, not the problem. And I think that, like, in us saying, like, oh, well, gun violence is something that we should be being more mindful about in our cinema right now, in our genre films, isn't that different than saying, like, well, my kid went out and beat somebody with a bat because he saw Michael Myers do it.
Right. Cecil actually he says, I would have preferred a katana, and honestly, that would have been pretty badass.
Yeah, no, I agree.
But
I hate guns.
But when she's going up against hunters, a katana, it just doesn't really. It's not going to cut it.
Yeah, it's like
no pun intended.
It's like the old saying, you know what happens when you bring a knife to a gunfight? You get shot.
Yeah, and Cecil also says the woman in I Spit in Your Grave uses the motor on a boat really well to take some revenge. So it can be done for sure. But this is the kind of film that it was. It was sort of empowerment through other means. And I do agree that it would be nice to see more films move away from gunplay, because it is a problem, And I also agree with Cecil saying, a lot of the stuff about rape revenge movies. I know people who won't watch rape revenge movies because it has rape in it. And
right.
I totally get that. I totally get it. And as dudes, we don't know we have no idea what that, we don't know what it's like to be preyed upon and to be potentially abused and assaulted. We don't know what that's like.
Well, to be fair, that's not specific by gender either, though.
Shut up.
Well, no. Don't downplay what he's saying.
Yeah, really.
Great. I mean,
in terms of this conversation, it is.
Well, I mean, granted, a vast majority of males will never experience that, but there is a number that are susceptible to
not
rape.
In this way. Not in this way. Like if a dude goes to like a weekend away with 3 ladies, that's like a fucking sex comedy.
No, not by ladies, dude.
I know, but I'm talking about this movie.
Well, movie, but don't play. A man can get raped by a woman.
Absolutely.
Yeah, you ever watch an episode of Too Close for Comfort?
Yes, with Monroe, yes.
With Monroe.
Yeah.
Monroe got raped by 2 women. Yes.
Yeah.
And he hated every second of it.
It does happen. I'm not saying that it doesn't happen. And of course that there is sexual assault with young boys or whatever. Right. I'm not discounting that at all. But we're talking about this in terms of this movie. If the roles were reversed, it's a sex comedy.
Yeah, I can say through experience, and just through going through it. Like I think that if in working in the company I used to work for, and just like the way that I was even treated, not in a like sexual way or not sexual way, if 90% of the men that I knew were treated in the way that the women were treated in the company I worked for, they would fold like paper dolls.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you know what I mean? Like it's just like, it's one of those weird things that I don't understand why. And I'm the least fucking politically correct person on fucking earth. It's one of those weird things that I don't understand why people.
Our fucking president is.
Well, yeah, fine. But maybe on the show, then I don't understand why people can't fucking wrap their head around the fact or fucking rebel against the fact that women are treated poorly in most cultures, including this one. Like, and women are treated unequally.
And I'm sorry I jumped down your throat, Raven Shadow. To me, it was like, it's like talking about racism, like when in terms of what we're discussing, and then someone saying, "Oh, well, a bunch of minorities were making fun of me for being white." Like, that's like, racism is one. It's pretty one dimensional. It doesn't go both ways. So, but in so I didn't mean to diminish what you're saying, but in terms of this movie, that's kind of what I was talking about.
The young African American boys did make fun of my sneakers on the bus back in the day.
They're probably air Sharkies, and they're probably
stuck to the floor.
Stuck, yeah.
Well, I was walking on the ceiling like Spider-Man.
They violated me, Mr. Raj.
It's just like, I don't know, like I've been
Dudley
accused
from the bike
being,
shop.
like sexist my whole fucking entire life, and maybe I am, but at the end of the day, like,
away from that point.
Yeah.
It's baffling to me that I just don't understand why, like there's so many arguments in the world that I get in with people, with like other nerd culture people, and they're just like, that's not the way it is, and they defend it at the risk of making themselves look so ridiculous. And this is one of those things where I don't think that especially in nerd culture is the fucking worst of it. The best of it too. Like, I think there are elements where it's the best, but they're buried and very quickly exploited to be bad too, generally. But man, it's crazy to me to think that that's even like a question in 2018.
Yeah. So I don't want to dig too much. Cecil obviously brought a lot of stuff that we could probably talk about for a while, but we do have a bunch of more voicemail that I want to get to. But one thing that Cecil had mentioned is that he'd love to see people do that. And we absolutely encourage people. If you've seen a movie that we've talked about in the past, don't ever hesitate. I don't know if we want to do like a segment of it. We can call it the Review Resurrection or something like that. But, if you ever see any of the films that we review, whether it was fucking Magic from like episode 5 or whatever it was,
which is on Shudder right now, I think.
Yeah, there you go. Any of the movies we talk about, always feel free. You guys, we love hearing from you guys. It doesn't have to be the recent topic about the film that we're reviewing this week or the topic that we bring up. It can be anything at all. So feel free, if you guys ever want to talk about anything, just to bring it up. And if it's a film we reviewed, absolutely. It can be the previous week. It could be from a couple years ago. We'd love to see what you guys think, and and kind of engage in a discussion, because that's part of why we love doing this, is we all get to talk about movies with each other, and you guys get to listen to us do it, or if you're in the chat room, you can join the conversation. But other than that, you kind of don't get involved, and we want people to always be involved. So if you feel you have something you want to say, absolutely, just send it in to us. We'd always love to hear from you. So
it's funny because I'm not very comfortable talking about smart people stuff, because I feel like I'm hamstringed by losing my articulate tag team partner like 100 or so episodes ago. But I really find like we do a lot for better. like I feel like an idiot by the time we log off all the time. But because I just am not. I would not. I should be on the show where I'm talking about one of like Keith and Keith, Peter, David, and
Peter David.
Yes. David Linkletter eating ass. Like
what the fuck?
Peter David loves eating ass, dude.
Yeah.
What the fuck just happened?
Wow.
I just, it's just like I don't like. I feel like I'm like I was thrown. I feel like the last 4 or 5 weeks I feel like I've been like I'm on the wrong show again. Like it's crazy. Like I don't belong in these conversations.
All right, we have a few more voicemails. MZ's going to turn to a pumpkin soon, so I want to After we're gonna play one more voicemail, MZ, and then let's go around the room and talk about some of our favorite horror films that take place in the woods.
Yeah.
So think of yours, and then we'll go. So let's hear from. I think this is 2 weeks in a row now. We heard from Jethro Nomicon.
Oh, nice. Welcome back.
Hey there, fellas. This is Jethro Nomicon again, just following up on that message I dropped a couple of weeks ago. It involves the lava spill. So it's a real estate scheme, admittedly, but I think if we all chip in about $5, we can make a fortune. So here's the idea. We're gonna bring some helicopters out. We're gonna lift a glacier out of the ocean. We're gonna bring it over to Hawaii, drop it in the ocean. The glacier is then going to melt the lava, and it's going to facilitate a faster island scheme. In other words, we're going to make islands. So we're going to drop a glacier in the lava. It's going to harden faster. Then it's going to take a while. We're going to have to get some people to cultivate the land and shit. But once that happens, we'll own our own resorts and we'll make a fortune. So anyway, you guys let me know what you think. I can't wait to get your feedback, and we'll talk later. Bye.
Wow. Wasn't that the plot of Superman Returns?
Well, that's what I was thinking. I'm like, why don't we just get some missiles, shoot them in the San Andreas Fault?
No, that's Superman 2. I'm talking about Superman Returns.
No, it was 1, but yeah, no.
No. The Brandon Roth one, yeah.
Oh yeah, no. But I think Lex
They're
had a
making the
better
new
idea.
islands.
Yeah.
You know what he sounded like? He sounded like that guy who did the movie phone thing.
I can see that.
You selected Wonder Woman.
Oh, shit.
Hit 0 for David Cassidy Party.
That's a movie.
Wow. Okay. Well, thanks, Jethro. Sure. If I don't know, we're gonna make that plan happen. But
yeah, I don't know if we have enough listeners to all chip in $5 to get a helicopter.
Yeah, Kickstarter. Where's Isaac?
Lift
Yeah,
icebergs.
Listen, not for nothing. I don't want to be I don't want to be greedy or anything, but I'm probably gonna lose my house. So if you can send a little of that fucking iceberg moving money this way,
Well, we're gonna build you an island.
yeah. Sure. Thanks.
all right. So let's go. Let's start talking about some of our favorite horror movies that are set in the woods or take place in the woods.
Okay.
So MZ, since you're going to be departing soon, why don't you kick it off?
Are we just picking one movie or just?
No, let's have a discussion.
Oh God, that could.
Pick one.
Well, of course I'm gonna go straight towards the Evil Dead flicks. I mean, that's the probably the most obvious answer.
On the nose much?
Yeah, right.
Yeah,
what was the original name?
Podcast.
What was the original name of Evil Dead?
Within the Woods.
Yeah, there you go.
Or Book of the Dead.
Okay.
There's also another, and I know I'm going to be going into some harsh territory here, considering what we just talked about not 5 minutes ago, but the great rape revenge film, Mother's Day.
That movie sucks.
Oh, I love that movie, as well as I Spit on Your Grave. You know?
Okay, let's save some for the other members of this show.
There's lots of movies there, dude.
Well,
you go ahead. You go ahead.
You're running the risk of starting to steal some.
All right,
so
all right.
let's
go ahead. Go ahead.
Okay. Well, yeah. Okay. Sorry, you caught me a little off guard. I was in the middle of a rant, and you just shot me down. No, I'm gonna kind of go. I think a little obvious. I'm gonna go Cabin in the Woods.
You're off the show.
That was that's a great fucking movie.
That was a good movie.
I know Johnny hates it.
Yeah,
I know.
shit.
I was running into no fear of stealing his. But you know what? It's just. It's a little bit of the purity of the old school horror movie in the woods with a little new twist of. I'm not gonna say realism, but. Trying to come up with a rationale as to why
the tropes happen.
Yeah, why the kids get killed in the woods.
Yeah. Doesn't make the movies go away, Johnny. You still have them.
I just think it's such a great movie, and
I love that Thor.
Yeah, but I mean, little they explain away little things as to why, why don't these people run? Well, because they're gonna die if they try to jump that canyon.
Right.
You know, it's just little shit like that.
The Harbinger.
Yeah, and the whole climax with the unleashing all those cells.
This is great.
That's just beautiful. I wish they just had more rights to characters.
Yeah.
That would have just made that movie 100 times better.
Agreed.
But yeah, I'll go with Cabin in the Woods.
All right, Raven Shadow.
I was kind of going to do that.
Dale Tucker Must Die.
I was thinking about that too.
Oh, that's a good one. I like that one.
Yes, Leanna, I hate Cabin in the Woods. All right, Raven Shadow, you don't have any?
Oh, wait.
Want to go to Mars?
I can't get there. We can't get a helicopter. How am I going to Mars? Ticks. That's fucking scared the shit out of me. That was in Woods.
Oh my god.
You hate ticks.
I do. The big one's in that one.
All right, MZ, it's about to be pumpkin turning time for you. So MZ has to get up like, what, fucking 3:30 a.m.?
Something like that.
Like
Stay up all night.
3 hours. So
Yeah, why even go to bed at this point?
I know, right?
We'll make it an all-nighter.
Yeah, get some Coke.
I'll just work another 12 hours on no sleep. That'll be fine.
What?
Okay, so I'm out of here. Arrivederci, douchebags. Talk to you later, Maz.
See you, buddy.
he said, "See you, buddy."
Oh,
He
shit.
took his
No,
headphones
you know what?
off.
Fucking Predator.
There you go. All right, I thought someone would take it. So
Yeah, wow, that was...
Fucking let him stifle long enough to steal mine.
Well, Aries stole mine.
Well, you know what? Predator is so like off like genre that should have been mine, because that's like my thing is to go off horror.
But it's a horror movie.
Yeah,
Pulling it.
borderline. But I mean, I kind of just like take the
in the jungle.
What were we talking? Like I don't even know. That was weird. But no, like I tend to take the title and
Road
go
less
very
traveled.
loosely,
Yeah.
to something. But yeah, no, bravo, Predator. No,
See? Predator. That's what I picked.
What happens in the jungle?
why don't you fucking Barry Horowitz yourself and pat yourself on the back?
yeah. Let's hear some.
I did good.
Yeah, I picked Predator. Predator. Let's hear some description as to why Predator is good.
Why it's good?
Because he picked it. That's why.
Have you fucking seen it?
Stop patting and start talking.
Oh.
George
That's right.
Patton.
I'll call your shit out.
Wow. Just have a cigarette, all right? You're getting angry.
Oh, I've been angry for a whole fucking week.
It has the best fucking intro ever of getting to know characters on a fucking plane. You knew every single one of their motivations. You had a monster in the woods, and you had Schwarzenegger running amok, covered in mud, fighting him. Jesse the Body Ventura, the Native American that was in 48 Hours. Carl motherfucking Weathers.
All right. We know the fucking.
What's it mean? It mean like it's a brand new movie called Predator.
And you know what? That is one of my favorite lines in cinema. That I ain't got time to bleed.
Oh yeah,
That's great.
When I was bartending years ago, I had the opportunity to use a similar line, and no one got it. Like I was 3 deep at the bar, meaning like I was that busy. There were 3 people waiting at the bar.
Yeah.
And I was running crazy. And I went to wait on someone, and someone went, "Take a minute, breathe." And I went, "Breathe. I ain't got time to breathe." And everyone fucking missed it. And I'm like, that was fucking brilliant. Like, the jokes aren't going to get any better than this. Like, I'm this busy. That's about all you're going to get. And no one fucking...
Well, that's what happens when you work at the fucking hipster bar.
Yeah, no one fucking got that joke. Like, I was just fucking lost. And I'm like, okay, yeah, just tell me what fucking PBR you want. You know?
Why don't they take that lack of sense of humor and fix the sound system?
Mars, if I know one of your favorite movies that
You better let me go.
I am.
I'm gonna go.
I'm gonna let you go. Yeah.
Dog Soldiers.
Yeah.
That's the one I thought you'd take.
Well, I
Yeah.
was gonna say Predator, but
That's once let Raven Shadow have the low hanging fruit. You can take Dog Soldiers.
Monstero's an Evil Dead. Friday the 13th.
Well, he's got Friday the 13th 1 through 7.
Yeah.
Just happy you didn't say Big Trouble in Little China.
If there was a fucking tree in that movie, you fucking would have.
Just all that needs to be is one, right?
What's that?
All right. Well, I guess this is kind of typical for me. I tend to think of the ones that we've talked about on the show. And one of the ones that is available on Netflix that we just reviewed a few weeks ago was The Ritual. And I was really surprised. Well, I shouldn't say surprised, but I was pleasantly surprised by how much I did enjoy it. I thought it was going to be kind of more of a run-of-the-mill kind of flick, but I really dug it. So if you guys have yet to see The Ritual, it is on Netflix. And the other one I'm going to mention is another one we talked about on the show, and it was our buddy Arkham Josh that brought it to our attention because he owns a 35mm print of it, and he actually was partially responsible for getting a Blu-ray made of the movie, and that would be The Final Terror. You guys remember that one?
I do.
Yeah.
So that was, it's not the best flick. There's some good stuff. It's got Joey Pants in it. Remember Raven Shadow? Young Joey Pantaleone.
Yeah, Joey Short Pants in that movie.
Yeah, Daryl. Yeah, that's right, Daryl Hannah. Yeah, but no, it's a good little flick. And once again, if you guys see the Blu-ray, Arkham Josh had I think he got one of his reels on that, if I remember correctly. But he has a really good print of it, and so the Blu-ray, was it Scream Factory that released it? I don't remember, but anyways, those folks owe a debt to our buddy Arkham Josh. So I think we could toss out some others if you guys think of some, but let's go to First Time Mike. I'm sure he's going to pick out a great one, and let's hear from our buddy First Time Mike.
What's up, Trick or Treat family? This is First Time Mike. How's everybody doing? Gonna talk to you guys a little bit today about my two of my favorite movies set in the woods. The first one is a movie from 2010 or 2011 called Yellow Brick Road, all one word.
Yeah, it's a good
the
one.
story
Yeah.
is that in the 1940, the town of Friar, the entire population of the town walked it one day after watching The Wizard of Oz, walked into the woods, and and most of them were never seen again. Half of them were found frozen in the woods during the winter. The rest never reappeared, and the trail was covered up by the government. In the 2000s, somebody gets a hold of the coordinates, and a documentary filmer, his wife, and some of their friends, and one or two of the locals go on a quest to find out what happened to these missing town people, and then the horror starts. It's a strange movie. It starts out slow, but it starts to get more and more uncanny as there's strange music heard in the distance and perception shifts, and as everybody in the group slowly goes mad. I don't want to give anything away because it's a unsettling start of a slow burn, but the uncanniness soon turns to terror, and it's kind of a creepy movie that sticks with you in a while because there's some really strong imagery full of madness, and it's almost Lovecraftian in a way. It uses the use of sound and music, and I know some people don't like the ending. I'm kind of mixed on the ending, but it's a good movie to check out. 2010 or 2011, Yellow Brick Road. I don't think it's on Shudder right now, but you should be able to find it. Good movie, highly recommended. My second movie is a favorite of mine that I avoided for a long time, but it's called Tucker and Dale versus Evil.
Yeah.
This is a hilarious movie. I had seen the trailer, and then I'm like, I'm going to go see that, but I kind of put it aside for a while. When I finally had the chance to watch it, I thought it was hilarious. It's basically an inversion of the classic redneck hillbilly killer trope. And instead, basically, Tyler and Dale are two guys who find a summer home, a dilapidated cabin that looks very much like the cabin in Evil Dead. And they want to use that for a summer home. But some college kids stumble on them, and as soon as you can say misunderstandings, every trope of the hillbilly horror genre is made fun of intensely and hilariously. Alan Tudyk and Tyler Labine are fun. Christina Bowden is gorgeous. The college kids are delightfully stupid. I mean, watch the trailer by itself. It's funny. I wish they would do a sequel of it because I think all the characters that survive, I'm not gonna give anything away, are fun characters. I like to see them in more encounters. Tucker and Dale versus Evil, recommend it. It's one of those movies I recommend to everybody to see. And I'm not a big horror comedy fan. I am to a point, but I'm not totally into the whole horror shtick. But it's a great, funny movie that is actually like how I like Shaun of the Dead. It takes the visuals seriously. It might be camp, it might be cheesy, but the horror and the results are gory and just beautiful to watch. It's a fun movie. Guys, hope you have a good Memorial Day weekend. I'm going to be going on a trip for a bit, have some fun, but you guys all have a good one. Be safe whatever you do, and hope I talk to you guys next week or whatever I do a voicemail again. This is First Time Mike saying good night. Bye.
Awesome. First time, Mike. Great recommendations there. I've actually never seen Yellow Brick Road. Has anyone seen that?
No.
No.
Have you seen it, Mars?
Yes.
Okay. You have seen it?
Yeah. It was either an 8 Films to Die For or another one of those like collection of movie. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I don't remember which one, but
it is on Screambox, which you can get Screambox through Amazon, I believe. So
yep.
It was Bloody Disgusting Selects is what Yellow Brick Road was, yeah. So no, that sounds really interesting, and it takes place in Friar, New Hampshire. I don't know if that's a fictional town or not. I'm not familiar with Friar.
Screambox actually is going to have all of those Bloody Disgusting Selects on.
Oh, okay, cool.
Some of them were pretty cool.
Yeah, no, those are great recommendations. And Tucker and Dale versus Evil is a good, a fun movie. So, Cecil just posted one in the fucking chat room that blows my mind. Has anyone ever seen a movie called Demon Warp from 1988?
No.
Mars, have you seen that?
No, I think though I'm having like deja vu that I might have been called on this and not.
Look at this poster in studio here. It's fucking ridiculous.
Wow.
It features George Kennedy. Let's see. Do I recognize anyone else? He's the only real name that jumps out at me. But the synopsis: a man and his daughter are attacked in the woods by what they believe is a Bigfoot-type creature. However, they soon begin to suspect that they may have stumbled onto a nest of aliens in a hidden spacecraft.
All right, let's do that next
Yeah,
week.
let's do it. Holy shit.
All these posters are amazing.
I know, right?
If you go 3 images in, there's a blurry picture of an awesome Bigfoot.
All right, let's go.
Oh my God! Here's another awesome picture where two demon hands are coming out of the sky and they're gonna crush what's his name's head.
Oh.
Oh yeah, I see that one. Yeah. Yeah, shit. The posters for this look amazing. That's a good one, Cease.
That's pretty good.
Let's see. There's some chat. Let's see what the chat room has to say. Cecil was giving me shit for picking a Netflix movie. He says out of all the Woods movies, you pick a new Netflix one. It came to mind because we just reviewed it.
No, I don't know if we did the original on the show, but we did. I know we did the sequel, but Cabin Fever.
Oh yeah. Yep. First time Mike says, "Dude, Demon Warp is fucking amazing." He says, "See this movie? It's gonzo stupid, and I love it." Maybe you know what? If Blinkhorn comes on again soon, and he has a copy of that on VHS, maybe we'll do a Blinkbuster video.
That'd be great.
Emmett Alston made it.
Who's Emmett Alston?
He made New Year's Evil.
Oh, nice. Okay, I love that movie.
Fuck it. He made.
He did 9 Deaths of the Ninja.
He did Little Ninjas. That was the other one I knew. He
Oh,
also
yeah.
Did called Three-Way Weekend.
Three-Way Weekend.
Oh yeah, right there.
Raven Shadow.
Yeah.
Ravenshaw's like, is that on?
This movie.
Is that on Netflix?
I've had that weekend.
Oh, could this be? It says the synopsis: 2 bisexual girls go camping in the woods and are followed around by a perverted guy in a gorilla mask and a man in a uniform with a whip who thinks everyone's a communist.
So
what the fuck?
Is that MZ's life story?
Jarrett has that on fucking VHS.
Jesus
He has.
Christ.
Let's do that and fuck. That's great.
That's great. I'm sure it's very politically correct now, too.
Well, it's 1979. They didn't invent that yet.
They didn't invent it.
Here we go.
Oh, shit. Emmett Olsen. I do want to check Demon Warp out sometime. It looks
I have
incredible.
to poop.
Oh, thanks. You could have just said, hey, I have to,
Your mic was on.
Yeah. You want to edit that?
No.
We'll be thankful he is like someplace else. He probably could have brought the mic in with him.
That's true. You pooping?
No, I don't have that big of a cord. For my mic. Dun, dun, dun.
All right. Well, let's hear. We only got a couple more voicemails. Let's go. I think Leanna is going to tell us about some of hers. So let's hear from Leanna.
Hi, guys. Me again. You actually got me really excited for this week's episode because of the topic you set for us, which is favorite horror movies in the woods. It's a very broad generalization, and some people will be like really anxious about sending anything in because of it, but I'm actually very excited because the woods happen to be one of my favorite settings in horror films. I think it's partly because of my interest in folklore and how historically that has been a setting in some of our scariest stories, but I've always been fascinated by the woods as this extremely primal yet kind of nostalgic place. And I feel that feeling kind of comes into the horror film. Now, again, because of the broad generalizations of the setting, there are a lot of fave horror films I have for this. For example, I think the most recent films that I enjoyed in the woods are The Ritual and The Witch. Of the two, The Witch is the better film, but The Ritual also sets up some interesting situations in the woods and has a fabulous creature design. Older movies that I happen to enjoy in this setting include the satirical Cabin in the Woods, the original Evil Dead, of which I happen to be of the unpopular opinion that the original Evil Dead is better than the second Evil Dead, but that's just me. The remake of The Evil Dead that came out in 2013 also happens to be really fun. I actually very enjoy it as its own thing. I also count the movie Predator as being in this setting. Some people will say, no, that's not the woods, it's the jungle, but actually jungle as a word means forest. So it's in the woods, it's just not in woods in a white country.
You know where you are.
So I'm counting it.
Too.
You're in the woods, baby.
Very great deconstruction of 80s action movies.
A white country.
You will find no better creature design than from the legendary Stan Winston. Other movies set in the woods. Oh, of course, The Blair Witch Project.
Yep.
This is a more polarizing film. Some people really, really hate it because they think that it really boils down to nothing at the end. You never see the monster. But I've never been one of those people that's been particularly bothered by not seeing the witch. If just because I find that the film successfully uses the nothing is scarier trope and really, really pulls you in with the genuine performances from the actors. Anyway, those are some of my favorite movies set in the films. Favorite movies set in the woods. What about yours?
Nice.
All
Thank
right.
you.
Yeah, so we've talked about some of ours already. And she
Spoiler
left.
alert, the witch looks like Janis Joplin.
What?
Yeah, the Blair Witch
Oh,
looks
from Blair
like
Witch.
Janis
Oh.
Joplin. Yeah.
Oh. I thought you were talking about the movie The Witch. So, yeah.
See, I've never been a fan of the Blair Witch.
It's good. I haven't seen it in at least 15 years, probably. I saw it like when it hit theaters and a couple times after, but I don't know that I've seen it since then.
Yeah,
but
it never
I liked
really-
it then.
It never really did anything for me, but the more I read about it, the more I can respect the movie for what it was. Like it never did anything for me, but I can understand why other people liked it, and hearing that they essentially tricked the actors into believing that some of this was real.
If the Blair Witch helped carry your groceries in, then would you like it? It would have done something for you.
What?
Made me a sandwich.
Where is that coming from?
Mars on
Blair
the phone.
Witch gave you back rubs.
Oh, hand jobs. I know, angry Blair Witch hand job.
I'll
In
take a
tent.
hand job. Oh yeah, then I'd love it.
So let's go camping.
Well,
See?
yeah. But where is this coming from? What is this?
You said it didn't do anything for you. I'm just trying to reconcile you and the Blair
Oh
Witch.
He
God!
wants it to do something for you.
Really? You just okay.
Do a flip.
And you wonder why I don't talk.
A little piece of my heart now, baby. I'm the Blair Witch.
Okay, next voicemail.
All right, let's cut to Leanna's next voicemail.
Hey guys, you get a two-parter this time.
Nice.
I haven't done this in a while. I'm glad I'm doing it now. And the reason I'm doing this is because I want to give out a review for a movie I recently saw, but that happens to be a classic of Japanese horror, that movie being Dark Water, released in 2002.
Oh, yeah.
Directed by the same man who did Ringu 1 and Ringu 2, Dark Water is the story of a recently divorced mother and her young daughter moving into a dilapidated, extremely old apartment building that seems to have issues with its water tank. As they continue living in this apartment building, the mother soon discovers that it is haunted by the spirit of a young girl. And when she finds out the truth of this young girl's disappearance and what she wants, things get very fishy. I loved this movie. Do not watch the American remake. I saw the American remake when I was in middle school. It was bullshit compared to this. Talk about a movie steeped in atmosphere with such great performances that knows how to effectively use its monster to scare you and creep you out. In any other American horror movie, it would be filled to the brim with jump scares. You'd have a bunch of scare notes every time that the ghost appeared, and you would be able to see that ghost in horrifying, gory detail. Instead, in this movie, the ghost is shrouded in mystery and in its appearance. You don't see it until the very end, and oftentimes when it appears, there is very minimal music or just the lightest hint of a scare note. But the scare note only comes in after you notice that the ghost is there. You will be freaked out. Some of the quietest scenes will freak you out. I love the performance from the lead actress who plays the mother. She gets the perfect mix of anxious but caring, neurotic but well-reasoned. You have your total sympathies in this character and a world that is dead set against her and her life. The child actress is nowhere near as good, but passable for this movie. And the biggest star is probably going to be the ghost and that apartment. This movie will make you scared of a wet stain. This movie will make you pay attention to every little detail about the building whenever the mother is moving to and fro from the hallways to the elevators. Watch this movie.
I've actually never seen Dark Water. I've always wanted to. Has anyone seen the original Japanese Dark Water?
I saw the cartoon The Pirates of Dark Water. Remember that?
Pretty sure Mars has. I don't know if he's seen it.
I think I saw the.
Yeah.
I think I saw the
I like
remake
it.
because that description sounds vaguely familiar.
Well, yeah, it's good. Jennifer Connelly is the remake.
Yeah, I've seen that as well. I will say this. I liked it 9 gazillion times more than I like most of that cycle of Japanese horror movies. Like I'm not too awful into like 90s Japanese horror or late 80s Japanese horror.
It was 2002 is what Dark Water.
But I did really. It was that late. They probably all were. I'm probably just getting my time messed up.
From
I mean, yeah, it makes sense because I lived in Grafton when I saw the Ringu for the first time.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I mean, which I don't really love Ringu at all. In fact, that's one movie where I do like the remake better. but I don't love that either. But I did like Dark Water. It's real good. She summed it up pretty eloquently.
Yeah.
It's much better. I would recommend it, even if you're like me and you don't dig. There's a cultural divide in most of those Japanese horror films that don't translate very well. I would say definitely check that one out.
All right, so I think we got one more voicemail, and it is from Dynamo's illegitimate son, Pabst.
It's legitimately my son.
Hey guys, it's Paps. Just calling in real quick. Unfortunately, I'm not going to be able to listen to the show. I'm actually going to go see Porco Rosso in theaters, which is pretty cool if you're a Miyazaki fan. Just wanted to real quick talk about some fucking great movies that I saw this weekend. First off was Karate Kill, which was a ton of fun.
Yeah.
Just like fantastic martial arts in that. I would love to see that guy, Hayate, I think. In more shit, been listening to the show a lot, listened to like Karando on the show a lot, so it's like, all right, finally time to check it out. Fucking awesome, ton of fun, sick martial arts, the whole package. Next was what might be my favorite bad movie now, and that was Deathbed, the bed that eats. Oh my god, that movie was fucking hilarious. Like, what a goddamn concept. Hilariously executed. I was wondering when I started, I was like, how the hell is this bed gonna eat people? And of course it dissolves them in acid, and fucking hell, the skeleton hands, like, that was the best. I love that movie. I want to own that movie. I would call that a treat of the highest order.
Wow.
And finally, the last one I watched this weekend was the Takashi Miike film Happiness of the Katakuri's.
Oh,
and
yeah.
that movie, again, was a treat of the highest order, except this one was actually good and well made. It's fucking hilarious. I loved all the claymation in it. It was very Jan Svankmajer. I thought it was super well done. It was fucking hilarious. Going into it, I was like, I don't know how this is going to be, but no, it was fantastic. I loved it so much. Just like the musical numbers and all the people dying and shit. It was great. I loved it. And I hope you guys have a great show, and I look forward to listening to it on Friday. All right, guys, keep it real. Peace.
All right, Paps. Thanks, buddy. And I love Happiness of the Katakuri's. That was my first Takashi Miike film ever. I got to see it in the theater. When was that? Like maybe 2002? I'll check that. 2001. Yeah. So it came out in theaters 2001. And have either of you guys in studio here seen it?
No.
Okay. Mars has seen it, right? Maybe he's pooping.
Yeah, I think he's pooping.
But it's fucking amazing. It's a remake actually of a South Korean film, The Quiet Family. And I have not seen The Quiet Family. I keep meaning to, but apparently it's a little bit different. Happiness of the Katakuri's is more of kind of a musical in a way.
I was gonna ask you like where you can see that. Like I always forget to even try to look for it.
What, Happiness?
No, Happiness is actually on Prime right now, but the Quiet Family.
There's a very easy way for you to see it right now, actually. We'll talk about off air.
Okay.
But yeah, so maybe I'll check out The Quiet Family. Maybe I'll watch it this week because I've been meaning to. But Happiness of the Katakuri's is fucking awesome.
I will too. We can talk about it.
Okay, yeah. First time Mike in the chat room chimes in and says Dark Water is really good.
You know what I just realized? I brought Dark Water to Worcester. I had forgot about that. I knew I had some sort of relationship with it when I was sponsoring horror films, monthly at the Bijou. I brought the Eye and Dark Water to the Bijou.
There you go. Cool. First time Mike says Deathbed is a running joke in my circle of gamer friends. Deathbed, the bed that eats. I've also never seen that one. But Pap says it's a treat of the highest order, so. And he's your son, Mara, so I believe him. All right, so I think we're going to start to wind things down. I think that is all the feedback. Yes, it is. We got some tweets, nothing crazy. It's just people doing some of those awesome follow Fridays, like follow my friends kind of deal. So we appreciate those. So thank you guys. I know we should probably be a little bit more active on Twitter, but it's only so much you can do, right, Mars?
I know.
So
right now, breathing is one of the things I can't do.
Yeah,
I'm dying. I was sneezing like crazy during. You asked me about happiness, and I couldn't answer. I was dying.
That's not funny, but I don't know. It's.
I'm allergic to the outside, I think.
Do you take anything for your allergies? Or is it allergies?
Yeah, it is. It's just the allergies are so bad this year that I take and I even am on a cycle that I'm off it for a week every month.
Whoa, you're cycling? You're cycling, bro?
Yeah. so I don't build up a tolerance to it, but they have me on 2 different prescriptions, and it's just like nothing is breaking this shit.
Have you ever tried what is it? Flonase, I think?
Yes.
Okay.
That's one of the 2 things actually.
Oh, okay. Because T-Dog has allergies, and they have pretty much stopped once you start taking that. So.
Yeah, no, it's great. In fact, the best thing about the regimen I'm on is when I get a cold, I know I have a cold because I don't feel good, but all the bullshit gross parts that come with a cold I usually don't get. So these runny eyes and fucking cough and dying nose.
These runny eyes. All right, we should wrap this shit up. So MZ's already gone. He said goodbye. We need to say our goodbyes. So Aries, if you would.
Goodbye.
Yeah, that's a good goodbye. Thank you. Raven Shadow.
Live fast, love hard, die with your mask on.
Mars Man.
Dear wrong Davids, I am sorry that I said you put your mouth on Pamela Anderson's bum. I didn't.
Keith David. He's the wrong one.
Yeah, he did. David Keith, you're into that shit, but no pun intended. But you know, but it supposedly happened in an alley, so at least both the Davids had a historic scene in an alley.
That is true.
Yeah.
Was the ass eating as long as the fight? And
I'm not
They
sure.
Live? 12-minute ass eating scene.
Yeah, I'm not sure.
Eat his ass too?
Yeah, I don't know.
You dirty motherfucker!
Could be mutual ass eating.
Kelly said it was hot, so I'm gonna have to
So it probably isn't then. No offense to Kelly.
Hey, who knows ass better than me and Kelly?
That is true.
Yeah, but I don't even remember. What do I say now? Remember, children, wherever you go, there you are.
Yeah. One thing I neglected to mention earlier, I'll mention now if you made it all the way through the show, but on Saturday, May 26th, we will be doing a live Star Wars special. It's going to be on Saturday the 26th at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. You can come on over to trickortreatradio.com. And myself, Mars, and a panel of others are going to be talking about Solo, a Star Wars story. And we do a very spoiler-filled discussion, so if you have yet to see the movie, I would hold off, because we're going to spoil some shit. So it should be fun. We always have fun with those, and we'll be doing it again this Saturday. So hopefully we'll see some of you guys tuning in. Once again, go to trickortreatradio.com and then click on the link at the top or just click watch live, and it'll bring you right there, and you can watch live. And if there's enough desire for it, we may put that on the feed. We've put the last 3 Star Wars specials out on the feed for podcast folks. So if you guys want that on the feed, let us know. Otherwise, if people don't want it, no sense in using up valuable hosting. So let us know if you want that or not. And that's going to do it. So next week, we are going to be talking about Sequence Break, the film from Graham Skipper. And also, we want your favorite techno horror films. So interpret that how you want. And that will do it. So we appreciate you guys coming out and hanging out with us for episode 304. We'll see you next week for 305.